It's not completely over. Yeah, and there's a Strix. So if he brings back Chancellor, we can just block it. This is what happened to our last Reanimator opponent. Actually, something similar the last time we played this match. Ooh, Thespian stage. I've completely misjudged our opponent. Opponent is a variant of Turbo Depths with Chancellors. That is super cool. He's Turbo Depths. We need to get something else going. Chalice on 0 does stop some of their stuff. They are a diamond deck. That's so bizarre. I keep thinking he's Black Reanimator. Ooh, we drew the Enforcer. That's great. So I can go for Grizzlebrand next turn. We can lock him out, hopefully. Another Thespian stage. So bizarre. Ooh, Chalice on 2 just ends the game, though. They don't have anything that's smaller than that in their list. That cuts off Hex Mage, that cuts off Sylvan Scrying. Not that he has mana for that. It's tempting, though, to go straight to Grizzlebrand. Let's attack. Maybe I just go straight to Grizzlebrand instead of go for the lock. Because Grizzlebrand represents a force. I mean, don't get me wrong, stream, it's tempting to go for lock here. But the Grizzlebrand's also really tempting me. Okay, so we can go for Grizzle, or we can try to lock him out of everything. Grizzlebrand? Draw to a force, or lock him out of everything. I think it's Grizzle Draw. If I can mitigate some of the damage here. I have a homebrew modern deck I'd love you to take a look at. Sure, Rumble, link it in chat. I'll take a peek. I think we try to mitigate the amount of damage I'm taking on this birthing pod. We want to be above 14 so that we can really drink in. Go for Grizzle, go for lock. I'm going for Grizzlebrand. Sorry, stream. It's probably wrong. It's probably supposed to be the lock. I'm going to go for a Grizzlebrand. It's time. Grizzle draw. Ooh, okay. Let's keep the seats. We're going to ditch Citadel, Cyanide. Those are what I'm going to ditch. I forgot that we had stuck Chalice on 0, so I was thinking I might be able to draw to some Moxen, some additional, but so he's going to copy with the Thespian stage. So he's going for black mana, but we've drawn to a force. Merit Lage is not the end of the world for us. We have ways to maneuver around Merit Lage, for sure. I can even just tap his Merit Lage. Hex Mage. I don't actually have the blue mana to cast. Oh no, I could cast Tezzeret the Seeker. Leovold's actually not that great in this matchup. I'm going to pitch Leovold. I like my other blue spells here actually more. Strix is actually relevant. Okay. So opponent's on a variant of Turbo. He's on Turbo Depths. Now that they don't use the graveyard, this is an awkward matchup for us. I mean, we can't Toxic for 20. Padim is useful if he's going to bring in some hate. Can protect. Rex Sage can hit his needles. They'll bring in needles. Their deck is filled with needles. Lots and lots of needles. Trinket Mage finds explosives. Encrypt in this matchup. I don't think either really matter. I'm interested in our forces and maybe even the Fluster. I like the Chalices a lot. The Leovold's actually kind of crummy here. So is Brea. Yeah, Brea's a little weak. Although this gives us a way to directly hit him in game 5 so we don't die from one swing of the... She's so flexible. God, she gives us blockers in the air. I mean, Taker is where we want to be this match. Maybe Archmage is what's weak. All right, well, hold up. What else? What are the other pieces we need? We kind of want these. I kind of want to stay on the Grizzlebrand package because he's not really interacting with us. They have a little bit of hand hate. I want to stay fast. I actually like cutting a Seeker or two. They're a little slow. Like, the walkers are slow for this match. Spyglass, duh, comes in. Very much so. But these other elements aren't that great. Like, Leovold and the Tezzerets, they're not as... I'd rather just naturally have Pod in this matchup is what I'm saying. I'd rather just naturally draw it. And that's a reason to be a little bit heavier even still. I know we were talking about how Seeker just becomes Pod or still Force Food, but the... This is where I still like the triple pod and still having the full Grizzlebrand package. So Treasure, Enforcer, Grizzlebrand. So I need to cut something. There are things to Flusterstorm in this matchup. You'd be surprised. If he's on the Turbo Depths list I'm thinking of. Deceiver Exarch is kind of cute. Although it lets us cheat to Hostile Taker. I think Archmage is what might not be correct. Actually. I think Brea and... Like, Brea has a lot of blocks against Merit Lage. And Taker just takes a Merit Lage. These are for the needles. Let's go. Yeah, BPAF, you aren't wrong. I could have just locked him. I wanted to go for the Grizzlebrand. But I could have just locked him. We didn't need to do the Grizzlebrand necessarily. This hand's pretty quick. It's a Grizzle draw, but like despite being basically a 6, I mean, there are ways for us to put this back into the deck. This is a pretty quick Chalice. If he therapies here, it's bad. Okay, Thoughtseize is not as bad. He should consider taking Mox Diamond, actually, depending on how much hand hate he has. Yeah, depending on how much hand hate his hand is, I think he should consider the Mox Diamond regardless. My hand's not that great without the Mox. We'll see if he sees that. What? What? Oh, is he a variant of Reanimator? Is he going to reanimate my Grizzle here? That would be super cool. Yeah, he's a variant of Reanimator. I thought he might be the way that he played the first game with the Reanimate guys, but I thought he was a Turbo Depths thing. I guess we were wrong. So he's like Turbo Depths mashed together with Mono Black Reanimator? Okay. I thought he might be that first game just because he showed us those ones. Yeah, we should be dead here. Dark Ritual. Dark Ritual. Well, now we know. I'm reaching for other tools in my sideboard. I love it. Some Depths decks have Reanimator Plackage as Plan B, says Dizzler. It seems to be the case. Maybe that should have been the tell because he didn't have... How can you play the Depths decks without the Green Splash? Goblin Guy says he's Turbo Depths Reanimator. It's an Irlandan deck. Okay. Oh no, we lost this. I mean, what am I supposed to do? He gets to keep the Grizzle. Yep. Okay. Well. I wish I'd listened to you guys. Did anybody know that he was a Reanimator style? Nobody really spoke up in chat. That sucks. I mean, now I'm reaching for my ley lines. I was thinking he was Turbo Depths and I'd want like access to this stuff, but now it's like I want this stuff. Jesus. Okay. I do not want to play a long game against that if I can help it, actually. I thought it was going to be more like a grind. Not that Turbo Depths is ever quick, it's just the land variant of it is a bit different. So ley lines, crypt, trinket mage. Okay. So he's just more bursty? Okay. So he's probably not trying to actually interact with us at all then. Got it. 2 ships passing in the night. Makes sense. So that's a liability that I had the Grizzle in my hand. That's funny. 2 cuts. Do I want Helm package? No, I don't think so, despite... Like, we could bring in the Helm package, which is the Tez's and the Helm of Obedience, because we brought in the ley lines. But, opponent does seem pretty quick. I think I just want the ley lines, and I want to try to Grizzle him. Two cuts. We could maybe cut Deceiver Exarch because the only 4 I'm leaving in is the Hostage Taker. Even though it's important to get to it quickly, I think it's a little weak. I think we still prefer Vendilion Click. Although Deceiver Exarch can tap and save us from a Merit Lage, which is kind of funny to me. These all block Merit Lage though, so it's like, is that really all that useful? 1 cut. I might even cut a pod. Just for us to be a little bit lighter on our toes. BPAP says I agree with cutting Grizzle. I don't think I want to cut the Grizzle package. We could switch over to Helm plan. I just don't think so. Now we know what's up. I thought he was like a Reanimator variant, just judging from the way that he played the first game, you know? I'll keep this. It just seemed like that was what was up, you know? It didn't seem that was the case. These Chancellors again? Great. If I don't play into the Chancellor, I'm not able to cast my Force in a moment, so I think I go Seat, Mox. God, this is a really annoying effect. I'll pay for it. We need this to resolve because I need the colors for Strix, so I will pay for it. Kick it back. Can't Thoughtcast here. Only affinity of 2. I mean, now that we know what's up, I mean, should I have mulligan more heavily towards ley lines? I don't think so. I don't think we cut. I don't think we give up a hand like this. Dark Ritual. Okay. Assuming he's got like the nuts here and he's going to have hand hate at some point. So like maybe it's correct to counter the ritual, but that never feels good. I mean, we cut the 4th ley line from the sideboard, so we're going to be worse against Reanimator strats. That's just how it is. Looks like a Brutality. He's already got the graveyard loaded up here. So he's going to strip my Force and he's just going to go for the Reanimate. It's not the end of the world. I mean, if this is his Reanimate target, it's not the end of the world. It sucks to lose the Force here, but like I can block Chancellor. Chancellor's not the end of the world for us. It's annoying to be in play, though. I'll have to draw another mana source. Yep, there's the Reanimate. It's any spell. So I'm going to need a little help off the top. But we draw pretty much any mana source in the deck, even except for the 2nd diamond. We're good to go. I mean, he's going to do other things, obviously. Him. Okay. Whew. Okay, that could have been a lot worse. I still have a Strix. That could have been a lot worse for us. I mean, I'd rather almost have double Strix, but then again, there's therapy to worry about. So this is probably the best thing for us. Can I just draw a land? Nope. Alright. It's a relatively slow clock. I mean, I just wish I knew what he was up to. He would have maybe won game 2. I could have seen some leyline hands. And that's okay. I'll live and I'll learn. It's just a mono black Reanimator Turbo Depths hybrid thingy. It's kind of cool. And there's a Dark Depths. Oh, yeah, we're just dead from both angles now. I like that, actually. That looks like, not that it's cheap to build, it looks relatively cheap, right? And this is just too late. This is just too late. We're going to be facing down Merit Lage. I mean, I have outs to Merit Lage, but this is going to be a lot. Let's draw. So Strix has to chump Merit Lage. This is the worst. Spire. Okay, I can't play it yet. Yep, here she comes. Nicely done, opponent. If that him hadn't hit my other Strix, we could buy another turn. No, we could have still. I mean, like, gosh, just think, stream. Seriously, just think if I'd known what he was up to, you know? I mean, I keep telling you guys that. I really do firmly believe in the strength of when you don't know. Like, now I have to produce 2 blockers somehow? Like, I can't. Like, the fact that I didn't know what he was all the way up to was huge for him. Oh, we weren't going to draw anything anyway. Okay. Good games. So last time we played against Reanimator, we won, but we had the full suite of ley lines. This time, I didn't fully correctly identify my opponent's deck, and it benefited him. I want you guys to write that down, though. Not that. You have to take that. You don't have to take that for me. Like, I play tin fins and paper. I have a lot of different ways I can go with my sideboard. You'd be surprised. Like in Legacy, 15 cards can really change how you're angling your opponent. I really like that, actually, because a lot of the Deathrite, that makes sense, actually. Because it's hard to justify being Reanimator right now in Legacy just because there's such a saturation of Deathrite Shaman decks, right? So I actually really like what we just played against because you're diversifying not just your main board plan, you're also diversifying, you know, they're like, okay, well, am I supposed to board my Reanimator stuff? Am I supposed to board my land stuff? That is kind of cool. Speaking of cool, I can keep this. Don't be an unfair deck, please. Like we just played against, right? Let me just cast my crane. Let me cast my crane. Oh, speaking of which, oh, I just played against your deck apparently. It's Ulandon again. Or somebody said it was his deck we just played against. I'm playing against Ulandon. That's funny. That's what I get for playing at 4 in the morning my time. What's up, Gallagher? Kvoda wants to know what's X-Arch in the deck for. It lets us cheat up on the pod curve to the 4 drops that we want to be on. That's a good point. Why did we add the X-Arc? It's for letting us, if we have an extra mana for pod, it's a lot of life points to do this, but it lets us cheat up our pod curve by 1. I know you're like, well, BrewSpy, how helpful is that? Pretty helpful. Pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah, it lets us go from 3 to 4, so we can go from 2 to 3 and immediately into 4. So we can go up the fair part of our pod chain immediately. I think I'm supposed to lead on Strix. No, this is more like classic Reanimator we're against. Okay. There's a Grizzly Dad or 2. There's a Petal. Glad I went with the Strix. Yeah, we're just playing against Reanimator again. All right, well, we know what to do this time. This one's a little more obvious. I mean, last time all we saw was the depths package. Are you more like Tin Fin's opponent, or are you just putting a big fatty in play? And you're going to need to put a few more. You're going to need more than just Grizzle here, potentially. I mean, I'm sure in that many cards he'll find something else to handle this Strix. Probably a Collective Brutality. Brutality killing Strix would work. Unmask. So he'll take my other Strix. Humorously, your deck is vulnerable to bruise, and the Silver Bullet decks just don't have a lot of random cards. Alright, down goes Strix. He reanimates my Strix. I like it. I like it. Seems good. Okay. Elish Norn. Okay. Well, let's draw a whammy. I'm assuming he's got another reanimate spell lined up for us, right? Assuming, I mean, in his 6 million cards, I assume there's another reanimate spell, right? It'd be crazy if there wasn't. That's actually probably why he reanimated my Strix, even. He was probably thinking about the Exhume in his hand. Unmask. Just unmasking my Chalice. Oh, the Chalice. I know, Ed, we saw like 3 Chalice on that Glint Nest. You let me resolve this Brea? He's thinking about it. He's like, man, what do I take here? Do I take the Glint? I can't cast Brea, right? That's what he's thinking. Can't cast the Brea. He takes the Brea. Maybe he wants to reanimate her. Yep, still just goes for Grizzle. I think he should have gone for flavor points and gone for the Brea and killed, you know, killed my Crane with it or something. If I don't hit mana on this Glint Nest, I won't get to Chalice for shutting off his looting. Not that that matters, because I do have a blocker regardless. I mean, he's going to start gaining life again, so it's unfortunate no matter how you spin this. Not sure exactly why I'm playing this out still, stream. Because it's just, this is where you just reach for the sideboard. I mean, there's Pod. That's kind of like my only hope, but I won't have the mana to do it in time. Oh, I should have used my Mox Diamond there. I mean, this is the type of opponent that probably likes a transformational sideboard. online takes too long. Of note, Elishnorn doesn't kill my cranes. Not that, I mean, I don't know what we could possibly... I mean, I'd need like an ensnaring bridge here, you know? I have to be more like classic Tesserator. I'm already looking at our sideboard, thinking about these wonderful, tasty ley lines. Opponent will be on probably the Burning Wish. He wants to animate my Brea. Go for it. She is a super fun card. Gotta let our opponent have his fun, right? She's a lot of fun. I gotta let him know. She is a lot of fun. The cranes stand strong, is what I said. Gallagher says, Brain Play can't scoop. She is super cool. Even when she's on the opponent's team for once, I think we got to play this out. And I'm already thinking about my sideboard. I'm looking at these ley lines. I'm looking at maybe even Spyglass. Tormod's Crypt for sure. So like Trinket Mage, Crypt, Fluster, ley lines. Alright, what's the best block I can do? That's really big. That's really big. And we're dead. What you shuffling today? My Legacy Tin Fins. Alright. See what I can do. Tempted to scoop, but she's just so fun. I was hoping you'd use a mode. He did kind of disappoint me a little bit that he didn't use one of her modes. I can't, not that I lose respect for him, I just can't imagine a Magic player that would have available mana and not like use her ability. Anyway, maybe he didn't have enough mana. I don't remember the board state at this point. All right, so Fluster, Chalices are great. Leovold's a little slow. I mean, like Click is great. Exarch, I mean, going faster up the pod chain is cool and all, but we need to not like die. I like Helm of Obedience because, like in these matchups, I'm tempted to mulligan heavily to the ley line. I know I talked myself out of it before, but I do like them. I do like the idea of it. And maybe this is a matchup where, although I like the Gristle package, it might be wrong to keep it in. Might be a little bit too slow and clunky here. Taker for sure, Glenn for sure, Brea probably not. Don't think she's where we need to be. I mean, Leovold stops his Faithless Lootings, but that's about it. Although it does, like, it makes his hand hate cause us to draw cards. Guys, this guy does everything. Still take issue with the current list, says Gallagher. Why is that? Oh, somebody wanted me to try more affinity like Shell, so I added the Thoughtcast. We're giving it a go. I actually don't hate it, Gallagher. I'm just giving it a shot, man. I mean, you know, it is what it is. I don't actually hate it. Glenn's a little bit too honest, though. There's a lot to get her on the table and then start abusing her in this matchup. Probably have to cut the Glenn. Let's run it back. That's a lot of blue I just cut, though, so I hope these forces still work. Have a good night, Rumble. Alright, isn't the whole point of Robo-Pod to cast Cheap Mirror Enforcer and pot into Grizzlebrand? It's not the only point of the deck. We've been going through some changes. We've been going through some changes. I don't think I can keep this. This is just a little bit too fair for the matchup, and we did bring in ley lines to potentially find. This hand's tempting, though. But I might want to look for a good 5 with... I mean, again, this isn't a bad 6, but it's still a little bit too fair. So this hand is a force, and that's about all that's going for it. I don't really want to go further down and another force. So this is going to be double force. Oh, he will have things like Meltdown. I'm afraid of it. Unfortunately for us, it's one of their sideboard cards that's a little spicy. I mean, I can't ask for much more from the deck than this, you know? Sometimes it's correct to fight over the Entomb, by the way, with a force, because sometimes, like, if they're anything like my list, Tin Fins, they actually run kind of few ways to get it in there. With Black-Red Reanimator, though, it's not always the case. I'll counter the Animate Dead. Do I keep Crane or do I keep Taker? It's tempting to keep Taker, but Crane is actually what like lets us play more Magic. But if he's running Gambit, I keep forgetting how Gambit works. Actually, I think it's whoever has the it's whoever has the smallest. So Taker probably needs to be kept. Although I think it's really greedy to pitch Crane here. But I'm gonna pitch Crane. We might have to pitch both of them and then have to top deck. But there's merit to fighting over the Entomb because sometimes they have multiple reanimates. Anyway, stick a Chalice on one. Hope you don't have the Meltdown. I don't even know if I can fight over the Meltdown because he's already got the Grizzle in the yard, and then any reanimate spell in his deck wins in the game. So that's rough. Draw Strix. Might be correct to pitch Strix. Because what's funny is I know we're sitting here and we're like, come on, just draw some mana, BrewSpy. But it's like, it might be correct to just hang on to the Taker and hope. Alright, Grudge. Yeah, that's pretty good hate. So he's going to go after my Vault. We don't fight here. Nice sideboard card for sure. Yep, it's going to go after my Vault. I'll float. And I know you're like, BrewSpy, in your Affinity mana base, does the Indestructible come up? The answer is yes, it does. It very much so does. Now I have a different card to pitch to Force, but now I'm like, I feel like the Thoughtcast has to stay. Therapy? Okay. I mean, we mulled to 5. It happens. He named Force. Yep, that's the game. Seems good. Let me ask him. Should I have fought over your Entomb? Did you have another way to get something? Okay. I tend to fight over Entomb when it comes to Tin Fins, but not your type of deck. You tend to have more ways to yard. I do not necessarily agree. Also have loads for this matchup. Unfortunately, did not find what I needed. But good games. Play Tin Fins. Did I mention that I play Fins? I don't necessarily agree with his assessment because it's like against Tin Fins it makes sense to fight over the Entomb, but against like red black splash green reanimator, I would assume that you want to. They have a lot of redundancy for that. I don't know if I like that. I politely disagree. Again, I play tin fins and paper. I know the entomb is rough to be countered there, but I can't justify countering the entomb here, fortunately. Too many redraws. Like looting, like any hand hate spell, looting. I just don't know if I agree. Oh well. Gallagher says it's less. So his what he's saying is he's saying you have to fight because it's the quickest route to a Grizzlebrand. But there you go. There's a looting anyway. Yeah, he says the Ancient Grudges are really good against my deck. That's fair. It's my fault for wanting to play Tesserator when there's a lot of people jamming like the Eldrazi Stompy thing still on Moto. That's true. Ooh, he's got the archetype. No, it is frustrating. I mean, we could have mulled a 4, I guess. Yeah. Right, I can't justify the force there on the, I think that's an aggressive force on the Entomb. I would do it if he was Tin Fins. But that's just maybe because I know that deck better, inside and out, and yep, that's the lock, giving himself hexproof. Yeah, lots of artifact as of late. Did I miss something? Is there a lot of Eldrazi Stompy or something? I thought this deck would be cool because people cut their let's see, people cut their I thought this deck would be cool because people cut their copies of. It is true. We don't have to face off against Null Rod due to top being gone. I thought we were better positioned than this. I'm not so sure anymore. I've seen Ancient Grudge several times just on the night. We've played 4 different leagues, and I've seen Ancient Grudge twice, 2 or 3 times. Yeah, the archetype is spicy, Ted Gallagher. He says I'm losing only to Checkpile and Eldrazi. So apparently he has transformational sideboard into Young Pyromancer. I'm losing to Pile so badly. Young Peasy seems like a nice sideboard plan. I sometimes use Mentor in my Fin sideboard. Similar role. He says he's 80 versus Pile and Eldrazi and 35 versus Pile. I thought Reanimator started playing Archetype since it got printed. Yeah, card is interesting. Yeah, just a backup plan for when they have Force, Fluster, Surgical Snap. That's gross. Well, I appreciate you explaining Grudge. No, I mean, I appreciate that he explained it to me. Like, I don't know. I still don't agree with what he was saying. I agree what he's saying about the Grudge, if that's like the matchups for him. I agree what he's saying about Ancient Grudge in his sideboard. I think Grudge actually plays really nice in Reanimator, come to think of it, you know. It's a little greedy on the mana, but is it? I mean, they have petals. I don't disagree. I don't disagree with my opponents. I just can't justify again. Like, give me Tin Fins, give me like that mono black reanimator we fought. I'll consider forcing the Entomb. I'll consider even forcing like a dark red against the last deck we played against. I'm not as keen. I'm not as keen on some of these other thoughts though. You gotta bounce my last permanent, bro. Ray says you can Entomb Grudge. I love it. No, I do like that. I mean, I've done some spicy stuff like that myself. Entomb certain things. Turn Entomb into a tutor for flashback spells. Yeah, you gotta bounce my Darksteel. You float. You gotta make sure I have no permanents if you're gonna play Tidespout. I used to play it myself. Actually, one of the very, very first Legacy decks I ever got into. This would have been I was still in high school. I played. I was playing. A buddy of mine let me borrow what he had of Reanimator, and it was fun. I enjoyed it. It was fun. I did enjoy it. But I found that, like, okay, so Tin Fins would come out a few years later, right? And I just found that people, not only did I find myself enjoying Tin Fins more, I also found that the people that I was facing just seemed, it made for more interesting, just because the combo's more interesting. Like, I'm not saying that it's in a different vein than, you know, put Fatty into play, game's over. Like, yeah, Tin Fin's also trying to do that, game one, for sure. You know, same with, like, some of the other archetypes, like the Turbo Depths decks and, you know, Sneak and Show. They're all trying to do kind of that, let's put Grizzlebrand in, draw a lot, and then win the game. But I found myself falling in love with Tin Fins just because, not necessarily that it's the better deck than stock Reanimator or black, you know, Jund Reanimator or whatever this is, but I found that not only was it a really good choice to switch to in paper because I found not only myself enjoying it more, but the opponent seemed to enjoy it more. How's Magic been post unbanned? I've been brewing with Jace, a little bit under the cuff, a little bit on stream, a little bit in secret. What I can tell you is I'm trying to get the cards banned again. But speaking of banned again, if we can win out here, things look good for us. And we just lost to 2 Reanimator-style decks. And it makes me think, you know, what Landon said makes sense to me, unfortunately. He's saying, you know, people just want to jam games. He said, I'm playing this because I just want to jam games. Like, I'm a streamer, though. Like, I'm not a grinder. I know we basically grinded today, but at the heart of things, I'm a streamer, right? So I want to play interesting decks. I'm not saying Reanimator's not interesting, but if I was going to play a Reanimator style of deck for you guys on the stream, it'd have to be Fins. I understand Fins inside and out, and I just think it makes for more interesting games. I'm not saying it's the better deck. I just think it makes for more interesting Magic, more interesting games. The lines aren't always this, then this, over. Like, the lines are a little bit more subtle than that. You have to think about what colors you need. You have to think about what you have to play around a little bit differently. Because you're instant speed Reanimator, you actually have ways to leverage your deck despite there being a Deathrite Shaman. Ooh. Am I dead? We're playing against Storm. I might want to put Chalice on 0 after I resolve my Mox Opal. Chalice on 1 does not stop Storm necessarily. Yeah, Duress... Bayou Duress Probe off of a fetch denotes probably Ant, Ad Nauseam Tendril Storm. So he actually takes the Chalice. That's frightening. That means his hand still needs to sculpt. Yeah, his hand still needs some sculpting. A little bit of Jace the Mind sculpting. But no, and this is where the Mox Opal is weaker than the Diamond. We didn't cut any Mox Diamonds, though. I just want to make that clear. So, like, I didn't make what the deck was already doing successfully worse. I wanted to try out, so somebody suggested try the Affinity Mana Base. I said, sure, let's do it. So we've added 2 Opals, and I actually really like it. It's allowed, like, weird, crazy things like turn 1 Leovold. So he's actually Turbo Depths. Opponent's actually Turbo Depths. These Cranes will buy us turns against the Big Scary. So I'm sitting here thinking he's maybe Storm, but because they do run a 1-of Bayou, but he's actually Turbo Depths. This matchup's interesting. Much more interesting, perhaps, than the other time we played against the Turbo Depths with the Reanimator package thing. You'll see that we need to be... like, crop rotation makes this matchup really interesting, actually, for both players. Not to mention Sylvan Scrying. If I was to play a Dark Depths deck, it definitely would be the green-black variant. Alright, he's running Tomb, discard, looting, unmask Elise Seaman, Reanimator Pro... Relevant creature, not saying one or the other is clearly better, I think it's close. About what? I think the archetype that was there for Reanimator decks to pretend they couldn't beat is Death in Texas. Sorry, Ray, I missed some of what you said. Let me cut some Mox Diamonds, run some Mishra's Baubles. Agite? What? Alright, there's a Thoughtcast. I think we just Thoughtcast here. I mean, it might be correct for me to still Strix or Crane, but I think I just want to Thoughtcast, actually. Maybe hit a Force. Okay. Like I said, against the Merit Lage, Strixes and Cranes are speed bumps in this matchup. I like the probes, whether or not you're going to splash blue. They make a lot of sense in my opponent's deck, the Turbo Dex decks. They are trying to get there faster than you. Alright, Thoughtseize me again. You got it. Down goes Tezzeret. Okay. Fair enough. He's got a lot of hand hate. Makes me think I don't want to necessarily Crane unless I'm hoping to hit Chalice. Like, Chalice for one's okay here, for sure. It might be correct for me to Crane into Chalice. Like, try to hit Chalice here. But if that doesn't work out for us, we can still cast the Strix. Oh, I tapped my mana a little bit wrong. Actually. Might actually just even want Brea. Brea represents a lot of blocks against my opponent's deck, even though he could hand hate her. Let's see. Blue. We would need another color here. We would need either... No, we'd need one more color here. So it's greedy to take her, right? It is so greedy to take her, but she represents a lot more blocks than just a second Strix. Like, she represents... And we could also just get him. She's so tempting here. She is really tempting. I'm just one color away. I shouldn't fall for it, right? We're just supposed to take Strix. I'll go for the greed play. I think we're already losing this as is. So I will go for the greed play. Our mana base got a lot more colorful with the extra Moxen. Like, I think it's very possible that... Okay, there you go. Did I go for the greed play? Yes. Will I get rewarded? Maybe not. Could be another Thoughtseize in our future. Well, we put her on our deck, so we're clearly greedy enough to keep. Yeah. Alright, so Scrying for Urborg. Yeah, he'll go get the Urborg. It's all he's missing now. Yeah, Brea represents a lot of blocks. Brea could buy us time to find a way to take care of the Merit Lage. So this is like 1, 2 turns, 3 turns, 4 turns. I think, yes, the second Strix was probably still correct. I'm not even going to say we got rewarded here. We got lucky. It wasn't that I made the correct play and got rewarded. It was literally we got lucky. That's okay. Yeah, Brea shooting him out could work. Yeah. Ooh, Birthing Pod, though. What 3-drops am I on? That gets us out of this mess. So Deceiver Exarch can tap the Merit Lage down. I mean, Deceiver Exarch lets us go straight to Hostage Taker, so... although I'm tempted to play the pod, because we could lose this to a Hand Hate spell, I'm tempted to play the Brea and go wide and just bolt him to death. Like, we're putting him to 9. He's dead to 3 Brea activations. I think it's a little greedy what I'm doing, but I like it. Greed is good. Red here. You like slamming the Brea too? Me too. Like, Brea... If only you had Brea in deck, says Tufaka. No, it's okay. Alright, so Needle? Ooh, he's going to needle my Brea instead of the birthing pod. This is great for us. Yeah, they do run needles. Lots of them, actually. This version. Just due to Wasteland. Because their, you know, their combo is, well, yeah. Sylvan Safekeeper. So Safekeeper means I can't take him off the... He's going for, like, all the protection here. Alright, so there's the Hex Mage. I like it, I like it. Alright, so how do we maneuver through this with the help from Pod? Alright, well, let's draw first. Oh, maybe I'm supposed to Pod first, because what if I hit the thing we're about to Pod for? Could be awkward. Alright, so he's going to make the Merit Lage. So he's got Safekeeper, and Safekeeper is going to make it so I can't really go after the Merit Lage. I might need to pot up to 4 even still. Which would mean leaving more mana open for Deceiver Exarch. So I can tap the Merit Lage. Do I have Rex Sage in the main? No, I don't. Ooh, I have Hostage Taker, though. I could take his Needle. I don't hate attacking here with the Thopters. Like, we've got some decent attacks. Because he's at 9. He might just be planning to give this Merit Lage protection from blue. I actually can't stop that. Take Needle, win next turn. Well, here's the thing. So if he has a way to tutor into the yeah. If he has a way to get his protection land, we actually lose. Because a lot of my all my blockers are blue. The only one that isn't is Grizzlebrand. Something to think about. Yeah, take Needle, sack an artifact to kill him. I don't have enough mana to do that, Skinks. Unfortunately. We're 1 mana short. It's only turn 5. I mean, we did everything we could. We did all the acceleration we could. So I could pod twice. And I could Deceiver Exarch, tap the Merit Lage. And that'd be a good swing. Yeah, so we need open mana, though, to do this twice. So if I sack Crane... Yeah, I think it would be Crane instead of Strix. So if I sack... Wait for the next turn. So wait for next turn. Taker the Needle, sack Artifact for his life. Wait to do it till next turn. Well, we should do something. I mean, I should maybe just hand check him for the card I'm scared of, right? If his last card is a way to get the protection land. We could just click him. That's the most defensible line instead of trying to go up the chain. Is just Vendilion click him. Yeah, instead of trying to go for the Taker now, just like click him and make sure his last card isn't something that wins the game for him here. Then we can go for Taker, take the Needle, win the game. Because we'll have plenty of mana and plenty of artifacts to sacrifice. Yeah, I think click is fine. Well, this is tough. I mean, all my blockers are blue anyways. I like definitely attacking with the Thopters. Like, I think 3 attacks is correct. Not that Strix is any better than the Crane. I don't want to block with the, I think I want Strix. I think I'm okay if he blocks Crane here. Yeah, let's get into 2. I think I'm okay if he blocks Crane here. You dislike any attacks, Ray? That's fair. I'm giving up an artifact here, that's true. Just to deal 2 and we can just deal 3s with Brea. That's very true. Alright, so let's go and tutor the Hawk. Sorry, the Crane. Let's just hand check him. If his last card is something that lets him go get the protection land, we need to take it. So I like clicking here, I suppose. It's always weird when they're on the last card, you know? And you just pray that they don't top deck it. Is it a crop rotation, bro? Or even Sylvan Scrying would do it. Doesn't change the clock. It's a Thoughtseize. Okay. Yeah, I mean that's fair. I mean, I technically, if this is the line I took, I need to block with click because that's one less artifact for us. You've got to attack with your Merit Lage here, right? Well, if he does, yeah, okay, he doesn't. So we take her the Needle. We just do all the land. Okay, so how much mana are we working with? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's 3 Brea activations, and that's game. Plus a pod, as long as I pay life. So we pod the Vendilion Click. Go get Taker. We're not going after the Merit Lage. This is only creatures. So this is actually really tech. Yeah, Taker to take Needle. Needle unlocks Brea, or Needle being gone will unlock the Brea, and I just sack my mana base to kill him. This Brea has killed several times. Like, we've burned people out several times. Crazy. It's not actually the way you need to do that, although we have perfect information. He showed us a Thoughtseize and he played out a land just now. We could technically maybe do some attacks here. I mean, it's unnecessary. Just love Tezzeret and Pod. Turn 6 kill without the Grizzlebrand? I mean, I wonder, I mean, somebody was saying, maybe you should just start not worrying about the Grizzle pile. I mean, I love this package, though. I love being able to go up to Grizzlebrand, but to really go over the top of some decks. But, like, there's a lot of fights that Brea can win on her own, That was a flying indestructible 2020. That's funny. We've finally used both moves on the Taker tonight. It's able to deal with main board artifact hit. I mean, again, like, I'm not saying that we don't need Reclamation Sage anymore just because we have something weird like Taker. I'm just saying they do sometimes fulfill a similar role. This one's more main deckable due to being blue. They do sometimes do a similar thing. Needle, we do care about Needle, right? Opponent's going to have lots and lots more Needles now. Spyglass to name... well, okay, so he can get around... If he knows the trick, he can get around Spyglass. If I try to Spyglass Thespian Stage, he technically can just copy a different land. Not all of the players that play that deck know that trick, but it's a fundamental trick. Try only Brea, Grizzlebrand would be overkill. Yeah, I think the Grizzlebrand is overkill for this matchup for sure. It's not long enough for us to try to... We don't need to go over the top. We don't need to go over the top. I had to reboot the stream a couple times, Shade, so that time's going to be a little bit off. We've been streaming more like 10 hours probably. Yeah, Seeker's a little slow. They sometimes run Loam. Not always. Something to think about, Leyline. I mean, like, again, a way to steal the game even more quickly, theoretically, than Grizzlebrand is technically just Leyline Helm combo. And just have some of our fast mana. It's like, this is technically a line we could take. Why not run the Hexproof guy? Spyglass for Hexmage. It does name Hexmage. Yeah, I mean, I'm not that excited about Leovold in this matchup even. The Rex Sage might be overkill, but it has targets. Like, Glenn isn't that strong here. Probably just take her or Brea for more blocks and turns and snag their dude. Toxic, not a way to get there. We could try the Helm package. Thinking what else I want. He's going to be going after my stuff too. Padim's interesting. I think Deceiver Exarch is maybe unnecessary here. Ray says we were so close to Bray getting stuck. We were. I needed to see a black source, right? Or a rainbow source. So I needed to see, so our live draws were the playset of Spires, okay, well, 3 of Spires. I'll keep it. So you should take Crane here. I don't know if I like the ley lines if I'm not going to run the second Tezzeret, though. Right? Because now I only have essentially 2 helms to hit. I did cut the Tezzeret, though, because I thought it might be slow. Yeah, so he takes Crane. Lotus Petal. I like it. If we want to focus on her, we should fix our mana. No, she's not the focus. She's just our golden child. I shouldn't show him the... I shouldn't have played the Vault. Should have played Tree or Spire there. Maybe even just Darksteel, because he could have some artifact hate. Yeah, this is wrong, 100%. I think I was just supposed to play the Citadel. Like, Citadel into Spire will cast most anything in our deck except for Strix. The only reason to lead out on Vault... I mean, I could also have led on Spire. Like, he's also potentially a Wasteland deck. They usually run 1 Waste, 1 Ghost Quarter. So there's merit to... Sylvan? There's merit to running out the Darksteel no matter what scenario. I just cast the Vault for whatever reason. Alright, Needle. Is this Needle going to name Brea? Helm of Obedience. He knows. I should ask him if he's watching the stream right now. If he sees Leyline, that's definitely the thing to think about. So let's definitely get the Darksteel on the table, like we should have before. Also, like, opponents like an Urborg deck, so, like, there's always the chance that he's just going to naturally give it to us. We top the Force. He knows about the Helm. Oh, his hand was sweet. Yeah, and now I'm in trouble. So his hand was literally another. That's the Thespian stage. Well, we have ways out here. We do have ways out. It's not completely done. Diamond. Okay. Nah, it's done. Okay. Well, I'll just draw the Helm just for the lulz. All right, another Thought Cast. Chalice one's okay in this matchup. It's not phenomenal. I'd almost rather just pay the extra because it's not really going to save us here. And just look for an out. Strix buys me 1 turn. And a draw. Strix buys us a block and a draw. And there's a pod. So we could actually win this now. Pod gives us lots of... Oh, geez, I shouldn't have taken out the Deceiver Exarch. Oh, Spyglass too late. If I had Spyglass Thespian stage before it hit the table, he actually can't do the trick I was talking about where they copy a different land. That's tilting. Oh, we drew it a little too late. Maybe he misclicks? Nope. Alright, so we're facing down a Marit Lage. Lotus Petal. Lotus Petal for... Ooh. Maelstrom Pulse out of his sideboard. Okay. That's the game. Alright, we'll win this 3rd game, though. I mean, it took every card he had to get us. It really did. He used every single card. He even, like, used some, you know, Spirit Guides. There's a Force. Alright. So I think that the notion that the Grizzle package was wrong, I think the Leyline package was even worse. It looks like he wasn't really utilizing. I've sometimes seen like a loam package in these Turbo Depths lists. I don't think that's the case for the opponent. I don't think that's the case. We'll cut Helm because he just named it. He knows what's going on. We tried it. We tried to punk him out. I tried. Flusterstorm does counter a reasonable amount of stuff in this matchup, actually. A lot of their tutors are sorceries or instants. Like Crop Rotation's great to blow out as well. So I think we need to make sure our blue count stays high, honestly, and just kind of stick to the normal plan. Just probably nothing as slow as the Walkers. I don't really want to be doing anything above 4 mana except for the Pod Tutors in this matchup, I think. It's not a grind. So that's 21 blue. Let's try to get some more blue in. Let's keep the fast package in. So X-Arch gives us the fast package. Grizzlebrand package would mean we need Treasure Mage and the Enforcer. So that's 60. I mean, Explosives has applications here, Stream. Trinket Mage, getting Explosives has applications here as well. But I think Rex Sage just does what we need the Trinket Mage to do a little bit faster in this scenario, hitting the needle more quickly. So I think for that, I'm going to run it like this. Oh, we're talking about Blue Eye Tempo. So we were working on potentially a Blue Eye Tempo for Seraph because Seraph was playing Miracles in Modern, but unfortunately, ooh, Spyglass. This is dirty. I'll keep it. This is pretty dirty in this matchup. So I can just name, depending on what he's got, what he's working with. I mean, this doesn't cut him off all their angles. So I mean, I'm kind of all in on this Spyglass, unfortunately. Our hand wasn't that great. I mean, I don't think a 6 is going to be that much better. This matchup is a little whew. But, all right, so Darksteel. I don't want to give up Tree when I have Birthing Pod in hand. I guess I still ditch Tree. So again, green's still kind of our splash here. All right, Dark Confidant, Caracas, Sylvan Scrying. So in the dark, I think you want to name Thespian Stage. The issue is he's trying to win with these Confidants now. I like it. Could also name Caracas, but I'm gonna name Thespian Stage in the dark. I could also name Verdant Catacombs. Hold up, what was this hand again? Wait a minute. Was this hand a little bit weak to us naming Verdant? That's super greedy, by the way, me doing that. But we could name the Verdant Catacombs. He can still get 1 Confidant on the table, and he can cast 1 Sylvan. Oh man, that's dirty. I could name Verdant Catacombs. I think we have to get lucky because my hand's really bad. I'm gonna do the mean play, which is name the Catacombs, and just hope to get there. Oh, he just topped a Bayou. That's dirty. Yeah, I get punished. I do get punished. We deserve it, though. We tried to cut him on mana. There's a Confidant. Yep. I guess the fact that he could get Confidant on the table, too, with the help of Petal, like, despite this, probably makes that play really greedy anyway. His hand's a bunch of 2-drops. I know they're 1-drops that we do care about in the matchup, so it's still tempting to Chalice for 1 if we're going to Chalice at all here. And this means I'm not taking pain on the Birthing Pod, and we just kind of have to hope to top a creature now. How many creatures have we cut? We cut Leovold, but we brought in a creature. Yeah. So we're still in the same number of creatures as normal. Okay, you just had a Crop Rotation, so there you go. I like the Confidant sideboard plan for my opponent's deck. That's actually really cool. I don't really have answers for them. I mean, I do, but they're just not in my hand. There's the stage. Yeah, I'm so punished. God, that was terrible. The second Confidant. Now we deserve to lose this if I'm going to make that mistake. Strix, okay. Stem the tide a little bit here. Wish I maybe tapped a little different, actually, in retrospect, because we could have been topping a Thoughtcast as we did. No, I mean, we're going to lose to him hitting the combo because I was greedy and I named a Verdant. instead of Thespian Stage. And now if I had another needle, let's say, which I don't, but let's say we had a second Spyglass, which we've run to before. I don't think I can justify blocking these Confidants. No, he's not going to swing with them anyway. There's a Hex Mage too. Yeah, that was such a greedy play for me. If I'd named Thespian Stage, he could still get Merit Lage out through the Hex Mage instead of the Thespian Stage, but it's still greedy I didn't name one of their pieces. I could go to Grizzlebrand now, potentially. We have to hit mana, though. Fast mana. We did not. Yeah, because I can pod. Well, I can Treasure Mage out our big dude. Hang on, this is very crucial, so hold up. So if a Grizzle draw here might be enough, actually. Maybe not, but maybe. It's possible. So we get the 4/4 on the table, right? And then I pod the... I mean, he's drawing to a lot of hand hate, so this is dangerous. Leaving the pod in my hand. I mean, if I play pod, I have the ability to pod the Strix for potentially a useful 3. Which 3s have I left in? So Leovold's here. Okay, so what do we got working with? Useful 3 would be... Well, I could Exarch into the Taker. I could take his Hex Mage, but then he still has the combo in the lands. Could go for Brea. I could go straight to Brea here. I could go straight to Brea this turn, right? No, I can't. No. Yeah, we don't have enough mana to do that. I can just turn the Strix into Vendilion Click. What are we scared of in his hand? He's got Rotation and Scrying. I can't take him off the combo. Well, I mean, he's drawn a lot with Confidants. Yeah, I just don't know what to do here. It's tough. Because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I mean, yeah. Our 7-drop is free here. He has Scrying. Rotation's dead. Oh yeah, Rotation is dead. What am I saying? We should just maybe mark that off because I keep thinking about it. So we take the Scrying. Yeah, we take Scrying. It's gonna hurt to do this play. And there's dudes on the table. There are 2-power dudes on the table. I actually should swing with Strix first. There's no reason not to. Yeah, we should swing the Strix first. I actually probably should have maybe just played Crane, since it blocks this board really well. So this is going to be greedy. Go get the Vendilion Click.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for the follow, Evanulu. Evan Lugo, 17. Evan Lugo. Yeah, so there's Click to think about. Rex Ace doesn't have a target here. Deceiver Exarch would only work if I had more free mana open. So let's go for the Click. Let's hand check him. I like my hand okay. We don't necessarily need to click ourselves here, so. Alright, so we take the Scrying. It's not over just yet. So we took Scrying. He draws another Scrying. Okay. And a Thoughtseize. Okay. Can't cast the Thoughtseize, so we don't have to really worry about it necessarily. He's already played the Petal we saw. Verdant Catacombs is still in his hand. He's played these Confidants. We saw Crocus in a Forest. Hexmage has been played. Yep, there's the Scrying. Alright, there's Dark Depths. Okay. Pithy Needle's countered. Yep. You know what's dirty? He could attack with Hexmage, and even if I tried to block, he could do first strike damage, and then I don't think we should sacrifice Click here. I mean, you could block a Confidant, and then we go to 10. If I take this whole thing, the Grizzlebrand isn't going to be as effective as I'd want it to be. Oh, there's Crocus in our future, so there's another reason why. God, this is such a greedy Spyglass. Our hand was like nothing though, so that's why I went for the greed play. But yeah, of course, Confidant, drawing the opponent out of misery. It might be correct to hit the Confidant. I mean, the Vendilion Click represents another block for Merit Lage, but we already technically have a way out of the Merit Lage. So maybe it's just a matter of not dying to what he has, you know? Although this click does represent a... although the Vendilion click does represent... How's the updated list? How's it going? It's going okay. I'm just thinking what 4-drops I've left in. I have a Brea, but that gets Crocused. And I have Hostage Taker still in. Elendra's in the sideboard, unfortunately. Because he can set this up twice, I think. Or no, that was the extra scrying. He already cast it. Yeah, we clicked one and he cast it, so... I think I have to block the Confidant. Newsflash. Not effective. A reason not to block with click here is that might be the only way we steal the game. Is he's going to take more damage on the Confidant. It's not like he has a Sylvan Library. I mean, their deck is very low to the curve, though. Like, it's all like... You know, I know he showed us Maelstrom Pulse, so it's tempting to think about, you know, the potential that he, you know, does hurt himself. We'll tap this way. So Treasure Mage up the Grizzle Daddy. I mean, Crane blocks really well. If I was going to block, like, the Crane block is nice. So we'll go get our Empyrean. Empyrean costs 0. I mean, if we can keep chumping... Like, we have a lot of flyers in our list, actually. I'm thinking about the logistics here. Like, if we can keep chumping... Well, he can stop the Grizzlebrand. He's got a Crocus in his hand. Yeah, he's got a Crocus here. Curses you, Caracas. It might just be correct for me to play Crane. Yeah, the Caracas. Maybe he flips an Emrakul. Danger, he'll Crocus our click. Yeah, he can already Crocus the click. That's true. Maybe I'm just supposed to pot our own click for not taking any pain. Turn the click into Brea. At least we get the tokens. It's true. Hey, let's attack, though. Yeah, he can Crocus the Vendilion click. Let's get him with the click and then turn her into Brea. At least we keep the tokens. They're relevant here. Yeah, we need blockers, exactly. Wait for his 2020 and take her it. Yeah, that's the plan, I think. That's the plan. Yeah, Mirror Enforcer is a decent blocker for like the ground stuffs that's here, so Padim's interesting. Padim, unfortunately, can't make... Well, Padim could make Brea have hexproof. That's interesting to think about. I forgot we brought him in. If I go Padim, though, we're dead in the air. But Padim is interesting. Taker's interesting, but Taker can be gotten off of the Treasure Mage. So I think the only line here is Brea. Yeah, we do need a flying blocker, so we have to go for Brea. That'll give it two flying blockers. And kick it back. So he's going to give up the Hex Mage for the Merit Lage now, or no? No Merit Lage yet. Taking some Confidant damage. Ghost Court of the Reveal. Hex Mage the Reveal. Beta Counterspell, you're going to want to do this. This is a complicated board state. Because if he goes for it, we could pod... Yeah, if he goes for it, we can pod into the Taker and just take Merit Lage. So there's the Caracas. He's probably going to bounce Brea. Okay. That's pretty rudimentary. No, I mean, that's a knock to our top end being specifically Grizzlebrand. I mean, there is plenty of Crocus in the format, so having access to other 8-drops is sometimes really nice. It's because it says he's in range. I didn't have enough mana to kill him. If we can get Breya back on the table, I mean, it's a matter of, I mean, that's the thing with her. Our mana is super greedy. I need another rainbow source. Any land lets us recast her, but then I won't have enough mana to just bolt him to death. He didn't take any damage on the Confidants, which, I mean, their deck is designed to do that, you know? That's why you see Confidant in a lot of these lands-esque decks. It's really cool synergy in Legacy. Like, you'll see this. These are out of his sideboard, of course, but you'll see these also in 4-color Loam. But they use Sylvan Library just to make sure you don't hit speed bumps like Lily or Knight of the Reliquary, and you know, Chalices are zeros to hit on Confidant. So, opponent's really thinking this out. I like that he's doing that. Is this another Hex Mage? This looks to be another Hex Mage. Okay. Wait. Couldn't he have... No, I'm not going to say anything. Hopefully he didn't notice. Yeah, so Crocus is in play. We just drew the Grizzle? That's funny. So I could Crane. The awkward standoff. Alright, so... so I can turn the Treasure Mage... I mean, Enforcer's got the ground locked down tight. He's doing his job, even though he's not turning into a big, scary monster. Treasure Mage can grab something. I mean, if we're just going to sit here looking at each other all day and I'm blocking, like, this favors us. Swing the Flyer, make him lower. Well, no, he would make Merit Lage if I did that. Oh, you're saying do it because we can take the Merit Lage? Yeah. That's fair. Like swing one Thopter or both Thopters. I kind of want to get the information off this Crane, though. I think we Crane. And we can find mana source for Diamond, and I can get the Breya back into play. Just make more Thopters. That might even be better than getting my Birthing Pod activation here. Like, any land will give me the red or white source that we need. What's our choice? Tree. Tree was good. Tree was what we needed. So we get the Breya back into play despite the Caracas and make more Thopters now. Just want to make sure this resolves before something weird happens. I think the Breya is better than the... We got to coax out the Merit Lage so I can Hostile Taker it. I know he knows about the Hostile Taker, and that's what my opponent's playing around. I definitely respect that aspect of how he's playing. And like Maelstrom Pulse might spell doom for us. I mean, the thing is swinging with 2 Thopters, he'll bring up the Merit Lage, block 1 goes to 7. If I attack with Mage, we lose our 3-drop pod for Taker. I mean, even just hitting him for 1 might be relevant. So he's going to make the Merit Lage. Why couldn't he be ghosting to punish us at? Amusingly, he could pop Hex Mage to stop our Mox Diamond, too. Really? Alright, so he'll block. I mean, he showed us Maelstrom Pulse. We'll see if he draws it. He did have a Maelstrom Pulse that he sided in, so... Safekeeper's good here. Well, no, it's not. That's, oh, another Dark Depths is good for him. It is. It means another Merit Lage could be on the way. So... he needs to... Safekeeper's counter, though. Oh, did he just draw the Maelstrom Pulse? I shouldn't have said anything. Okay, so he's going to Abrupt Decay the Chalice. Although he could have used Hex Mage to take off the counter on the Chalice. We maybe should tell him. That is a cool double duty she can do. Alright, so this Crop Rotation is going to get him the out. Crop Rotation will give him protection from blue. Let's see if he knows to do it. Good games, man. This was something. Yeah, so they run Sajiri Step. Yep, Sajiri Step in Legacy. If you want to play Sajiri Step in Legacy, this is the deck to do it. I didn't see another line. I mean, we could have gotten the Hostile Taker, but the problem is It just doesn't. Yeah, see, the Abrupticated break out of the Chalice is. I mean, we could have gotten Padim. That's true. You know what, Stream? Maybe I was supposed to get Padim. That would have kept the Chalice on the table. Because we technically still had blockers. I didn't need to just replay Brea. I think in retrospect, I think we should have potted for Padim to protect Chalice, but it's only in hindsight. We just went into the red zone, so it was a really close game. That was really interesting Magic, though. I mean, Turbo Depths, this style of Turbo Depths, I think much more interesting Magic than maybe the other Depths deck we saw for sure. Yeah, so I think in retrospect, I think we should have converted the Treasure Mage into Padim instead of getting more Thopters on the table and attacking. And I can only say that in hindsight, you know? Padim, though, is... Oh, Padim's legendary, though. Shoot. All right, he would have to do that before the Mox goes on the stack, which would mean he'd have to guess. Yeah, Padim's also legendary. We might want to put some... We might want to have some fewer legendary creatures in our deck. All right, so it's 5 in the morning for me. I'm going to host someone. Jay, can I host you? J-Bone Capone? You going to be playing something sweet? Love to host you if I could, friend. Tell me soon, because I'm going to look for somebody else. Because once I say that, people just clear out. But please stay. I'm going to host another streamer in like 2 seconds. And it's really important for people to... Okay, so there's somebody jamming Blue-Eye Control. There's us jamming Legacy. All right. Somebody's playing Todd Stevens' deck. Okay. I don't see anything all that interesting. Yeah, is there any chance you're gonna go live, Jay? You're about to head to bed yourself? You should do it, Sarah. Yeah, I like this config though. I don't think I'd change much. This was us trying to embrace the affinity side of the deck. Yeah, I think we would like slightly less awkward mana, even at the cost of losing a little bit of affinity. Yeah, I mean green's the splash. Like if we were gonna have the basic, even without like a delta to search for them, like if we were gonna add the basic, let's say we want to add the basic island and the basic swamp, right? Just let's say we want to do it. Let's say we want to do it, even without the fetches necessarily. Let's say we want to do it. It would be the 2 Tree of Tails. Let's just say we want to do it. Just in theory. It makes our 2 Mox Opals a lot worse, but not much else in the deck. It makes the Thought Casts a little bit weaker, but not much else in the deck. It makes the colors a little bit better. It makes us even more resilient to Wasteland in addition to the Dark Steels and in addition to the Moxen. So instead of just having... I mean, we would be, you know, even just 2 cards. Dark Steels are your weakest land. They are. I don't disagree. I like leading out on them, but like the Island in the Swamp could let us lead out those as well. I don't disagree, Ray. I think the first Island and the first Swamp would be perfectly reasonable. I do agree. I think I still feel that Tree is the weak. I mean, again, maybe it's just because I've gotten Wastelanded out a lot. Maybe too many times. I think our mana base wants to be a little bit less green, wants to be a little bit more blue-black. I mean, you know, Reclamation Sage, Choke, and of course Birthing Pod and Leovold would like to have a word with you if I say that, but having at least one has some value. Yeah. I don't disagree that it's our weakest land, but we've also kind of full-blown gone into the affinity. And if I'm going to choose, like, I mean, so you're saying go with trees over 2 Darksteels? That might be okay. I don't hate that. I feel like I want to be a little bit more naturally resilient to Wasteland. Because again, like, we've got the Spyglass in the sideboard still. Part that has you is, yeah, 22 land with Moxen. Yeah. Yes, we were on 22 lands with the Mox Diamonds. After adding the Opals, that's actually what I just did. I just cut some lands, and it's rough. It is rough. It is probably wrong. It was something I was thinking about too. You know, Diamond... I mean, we might just need to do the split, you know, and then even still, it's like, well, okay, so you're on 22 lands and you have 2 Opals and 2 Diamonds. Great. Did you fix it? Maybe. You know? All right, cut one Mox Diamond. I don't like 4 and 20. I mean, this might be the correct thing to do. Just add 2 basics in addition to keeping, like, maxing out on all the relevant colored affinity land. And I know you're like, well, BrewSpy, but you have, like, this jank in here. It's like, well, we have ways to fix ourselves into it. It's like, that's, you know, something we could do, and we could find something else to cut. I mean, we don't need to be on the place at a Thoughtcast. Technically, I like 1 to 2 Thoughtcast. I don't disagree. I think they were helping us flow through the deck. But, like, if you want the 3rd Mox Diamond, you know, with 22 land, you could cut, like, the 4th Thoughtcast. Could be the 2nd Mox Diamond. Because, again, I don't like air. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I like Tesserator. But, like, we don't like a lot of air. And, like, that this is technically an air spell. At least this is putting a dude on the creature and looking. This is putting a Death Toucher on the board and looking, you know, drawing a card. Like, this is the most air affinity spell we could be on. Cutamir and Griselbrand, never go for it again. You're never going for it. There's certain matchups where I don't want to go for it. So you're saying cut the Griselbrand package. It just wouldn't really be Robo-Pod anymore, would it? I don't disagree. I mean, back when we were playing this, there weren't, like, ridiculous cards like Brea and Leovold. They just didn't exist yet. You know, these are relatively recent. And so, like, I think Rewind, when we were, like, during the inception of when we were building this deck, like 2-3 years ago even, you know, things have changed. You know, there's True Name Nemesis, there's Leovold now. I mean, you know, not that I necessarily want a True Name Nemesis in this, but it's a thought. Anyway. You should just play Affinity. Ray, you get out of here. You get out of here with that nonsense. Get out of here with that nonsense. None of that. None of that. None of that. How dare you? But yeah, Affinity would work better with our mana base. Hollow-Pod. Play Hollow one. Turn Hollowed one into a 6-drop. Hollow-Pod. So the goal will be to turn Hollowed one into a 6-drop. Don't know how that would work. I like it in theory. Don't hate it. But yeah, I think we could go down to Thoughtcast. I think we've got enough blue. Thoughtcast is just filler. It was filler we wanted to test. And not that it's bad filler, that's not what I'm saying. Like you're like, well, BrewSpy draws 2. It's like, yeah, that's good. But like we like a lot of all the other things we're already doing. And like we just added 2 lands, so I think it's okay to cut this. Or, I mean, that was us just testing 20 land. I mean, we could test 20... I mean, the basic that we really need, honestly, is the basic island. We don't necessarily need the basic swamp here. The basic that I find that we really could use on a decent amount is the basic island. So, I mean, if we want the first basic, it's the basic island. And then, you know, that still lets us maybe squeeze in the 3rd Mox. Greedy? Yeah, but we could continue testing the 4th cast. 2nd island over first swamp. That's probably true too. We've had cards like Vendilion Click and Tezzeret. 2nd basic would still probably be basic island. You guys said the same thing. That's fair. A lot of our black that needs to be hard cast is still single black like the Deluge. You know what? One more for the road. This one's just for fun. Yeah, man, we lost back-to-back to Reanimator. I mean, I'm sad I cut the 4th ley line. We did lose to 2 Reanimator shenanigans. Actually, we played against... Okay, so that's funny. So we played a fair matchup, right? Round 1. Then we played Reanimator that was mashed together with Depths. And then we played Reanimator that was mashed together with Pyromancer. He said that was his sideboard plan. And then I played just now against Speed, like Turbo, solid, just... This is my favorite take on the depths deck right here that we just lost to. But what's funny is these were all kind of in the same vein, right? This was a hybrid of both of these, and then this was an archetype and this was an archetype. So, yeah, I mean, maybe I shouldn't be trying to play fair on Moto these days. That's what Il Landon said to us, right? He said, you know, in paper I like to play fair decks, but he said, on Moto I like to play unfair because he just said he likes to just speed through games. May she just want to play some land hate or try a faster combo. Faster combo, okay. I've liked the Deceiver Exarch going straight to Glenn, Taker, and Bray in the main board and then Padim out of the sideboard. So you were suggesting doing like Deceiver Exarch into a 4-drop and then the 4-drop untaps the pot as well and then, you know, 4-drop into 5. I mean, like now you're talking like, you know, like Restoration Angel. You're talking like modern style, like a Deceiver Exarch starting a cascade of pot activations. Which I think is cool to think about. I think that'd be cooler than like to brew this with Affinity. I mean, you're talking about like Restoration Angel, perhaps. Talking like Deceiver Exarch into Resto, into Zealous Conscripts, into I don't even know at that point. Oh no, you would just stop at Kiki Jiki. Somebody suggested playing Felidar to Blink Pod and use Karmic Guide to get Exarch. Okay, so wait a minute. So Felidar to Blink the Pod, get Karmic Guide. Karmic Guide gets Exarch. Untap Pod. Now get Kiki. And you would need Trinket Mage for Lion's Eye. What about one Renegade Rallier? Yeah, the Renegade Rallier was cool. We tested Rallier for some amount of time. We did test Rallier for a reasonable amount of time. In the dark, I would keep this. So you guys are suggesting just do a full-blown combo. Trinket Mage for Lion's Eye, Diamond, Pod in the field would win. Who suggested this line? We'd have to credit them because that's not my tech. Our mana base would also get better. We could maybe go away from some of the Affinity mana base, perhaps. The Spire actually I think matters more than the Vault here. I think I still lead on Spire. So we need a Lion's Eye Diamond. Okay, so we would need to add a Felidar, a Karmic Guide, and a Lion's Eye Diamond. And our mana base would get better. That's true. It'd be a very different take. So we would be on double white, triple red cards. Awkward. Alright, ponder the reveal. No second land. Okay. No second land. This is where we get dazed, right? I guess I didn't have to run out the Chalice. I could go Vault into Crane. Oh, he just forces. Alright. 2 Cranes can trade with a Insectile Aberration. I know you're like, BrewSpy, what are you talking about? You're not gonna play out 2 Cranes before this guy kills you, right? I mean, who would? Who'd be able to? It's funny you say that because it happens more than you'd think. And there's an Opal. I should have played out Vault. I do not have Metalcraft here, unfortunately. So I think I take Mox. Yeah, I should have played out the Vault. Trying to get cutesy here. Playing out the Spires. Alright, now we can block the Delver. He has to have a removal spell here. Obviously he will. But I still like trying to go for the double block. Alright. Chalice. Now we're talking. Still think Guardian Beast could be good with all the Chalices, lands, and pods. Guardian Beast? Young Pyro. Haven't heard that card in a long time, back when it was a combo. Oh yeah, Jay? I think I have to take the Pyro. It's just going to go out of control. I think I have to hostage taker this Pyromancer. It just probably would get out of control. Not that I'm planning on casting it myself. I think that's what we kind of want to prevent from happening. Not that, I mean, like, Chalice is really, like, I mean, like, again, he just showed Pyro, so it's very possible that he's going to, you know, if we don't stick the Chalice here, I might still be correct to stick Chalice before we play the hostage. If we played white, we also get Jailer. Ooh, that's true. So Chalice, this is tough here. Yeah, he knows not to attack with the Insectal. If he had removal spell, he might have considered playing it, though. I'm willing to take a risk here not to let him get any tokens, although I don't even think that the tokens necessarily would get out of hand as fast as I'm thinking they might. It's tempting to play the Taker. And we can force... Well, maybe we have time. Maybe we do have more time than I think we do. We still have time to do Chalice for one. Yeah, I mean, Chalice for one. He can still make the tokens, but it's going to be with no advantage. And then if he does have a bolt for our Taker, we don't have to fight over it. That's true. I think this is the more defensible line. We're in no rush. We're in no rush here. Yeah, Crane's a really solid card in the deck. I really like this. The printing of this has really refreshed our archetype. So he's going to waste my Spire. And now we're looking at not having the ability to cast the Hostage Taker. We'll have to top mana to do it now. Unfortunately. I mean, I still think it's defensible that we did the Chalice line. I think I'm still more afraid of the Pyromancer than I am of the... okay, second Pyromancer. I might want to fight here and keep the click. We'll pitch the Taker. I can click myself. Do we do it main phase? No, we can wait. We'll kick it back. Sit on force if we have to force. So he's going to waste forcing me to do the click. This could be playing into a daze, though I may have wanted to just do this immediately. Let's click us. The Grizzlebrand's more dead than a force. Alright, so another resilient land. Although he's already played out 2 wastelands at this point. Why don't we just play Massacre Worm again? I like Massacre Worm. We used to have a Massacre Worm as our 6-drop. Yeah, we would go from like Thragtusk into Massacre. Just wish we had a faster way to do it. I mean, Massacre is pretty cool in that it like combo kills sometimes. Like sometimes your opponents have enough creatures that it kills. Alright, Gurmag. Gurmag's not the end of the world, but it does kind of suck for us here. I mean, we'll need to draw, you know, something. I don't really like playing the tree into another waste. You could have a third waste. I mean, that's not an exchange I can make, right? The Gurmag here. Us losing Taker is really bad. I may have not wanted to pitch it. I mean, we can't. So if I do the triple block, we're going to lose the click and a Glint Nest. I'm going to be left with just one Glint Nest. I think that's not doable. Let me just take the Gurmag damage. Yeah, that's going to be the game. Unfortunate. Well, no, we have a chump with Crane. We have to chump with Crane. I'll see you, Ray. Have a good night. We used to play Massacre Worm, though, just so you know. I did like it. So Deathrite drain us, yep. So Crane block here, I think is correct, but maybe not. Because Crane technically blocks, you know, Pyromancer better than Click does, but Click can trade 1-for-1 with Delver. This gives us more options for if we do draw Pod. I didn't. So I have Force or I have Chalice for 2. Chalice for 2 is defensible. I think I'm going to sit on the Force. He should send in the team this time. He's been really timid over there. I mean, we're just playing for fun. You know, it's not like we're on the line for, you know, like a tournament or anything here. Alright. Volcanic. He should probably swing it a bit more. There you go. It's like here, it's like I try to trade in a chump, and it's just not. He should have swung the Pyromancer too. But yeah, he would have had us dead that turn actually. Okay, so young Pyromancer style of Delver, Grixis Delver. We kind of know more or less how we like to board for this. I like the Deluge. I like the Choke. I like Spyglass, Explosives. If we bring in Explosives, I like Trinket Mage. Padim's interesting to think about. Tezzerets are a little slow, of course. Click goes with the Grizzle package. Don't like we can go all the way, but the thing of it is, well, he's gonna be like the one deck we played tonight that's not on Caracas. It's so tempting to leave in. Glenn, although you can trade Glenn with half a snap, I'd still rather have these elements, I think. Leovolt's pretty good. So I can either leave in the pot up to these four drops a little bit more quickly, or we can leave in the Grizzle package. All right, for humoring you guys, I will test it without the Grizzle package, and we will see if the deck just really likes the 4 drops we're running and the engines we're running, at least against Delver. I feel like there are matchups where I still like the ability to go over the top, but we'll give it a shot. I'm always down for trying new things. Goldfish. All right, so Brea would be force food with this hand. This hand is resilient to turn 1 Wasteland, though. I mean, she'll sometimes be force food. I'm not gonna mulligan a playable hand just because it has a Brea that I'd rather not use as force food. Oh yeah, we should have maybe taken out forces too. Whoops. If I'd taken out forces, I'd have right now a Fluster. Oh yeah, I should have swapped my forces for the Grizzle package. All right, if we steal this game and get to play game 3, I'll make the change. I was wondering why I was like, why do I not have room for the Grizzle packages? Because I left in the freaking Force of Wills. Rip. Oh, that's the worst. That's fine. That is the worst. Ooh, Taker. Crane. Alright. Ooh, we get our first whiff of the night. This is literally the first whiff. Did I cut too many artifacts? I cut 1. I cut 1 artifact, so actually that's just unlucky. Okay, it happens. Well, we can look at it as positive. We just milled over a force we really don't want to see. It's fine. That was our first Crane whiff of the evening. I'm not even joking. That was literally the first one. We're on 35 artifacts main board, so that it will happen. You know, even with as many artifacts as we're on, like the Agent of Bolus will occasionally whiff. It's like, you know, collect the company. All right, so just gonna waste my seat. That feels pretty bad. Not much I can do about it. And a Delver. Okay. But I can kill both his threats here with this explosives. And now the force doesn't look so bad. Doesn't look so bad. If he doesn't flip the Delver, which he will, I could block with Crane. I'm probably supposed to just attack there. Because we know he's flipping the... What? Doesn't flip the Delver. I'm so confused, can't look away. Ooh, grudge. I think my hand's so bad I have to consider force. Is this like the worst? This is the worst thing ever. We need this explosives to take out both his threats. That's hilarious. I mean, I mean, at this point in the night, I said we're just playing for fun, right? So he's going to counter here. Oh, is this a power blast? Well, he's missed on land drops. God, I'm just throwing away our hand. Just feverishly throwing away our hand. I love it. Do you have the land drop still? And then he gets to grudge us anyway? No, he doesn't. We get to kill both his threats. And then he grudges my Retrieve Tails, and I have nothing but a crane. Nothing but a crane. Nothing but a crane. Guys, we're going to get there with this crane, I swear. God, I've meant to take out the forces 100,000%. Oh my goodness. It's the worst. It's the worst. Oh, alright, Chalice time. I mean, Chalice gets hit by a grudge, but I can't not play the Chalice here because he'll just hit my land. Maybe he doesn't naturally flip this Delver. They always do. Doesn't? He doesn't. Crane Stonewall Jacksons. So he's going to grudge my Chalice. Or my land. Okay, he goes after the Chalice. Okay. Good. But yeah, that probably denotes a Ponder or Brainstorm, though. But I mean, him, you know, going after Archie. God, what's with all the ancient grudges? Jesus. It's like the fourth one we've seen today. It's at least the third, if not the fourth. My goodness. And this is where I really wish we still had our filter land in the mana base. I know. It's greedy. It's greedy mana. People keep telling me, not this one. Oh, Darkwater. Darkwater filters into Baleful and Tezzeret, Agent of Bolus, and Leovold from any colorless source. Yeah, that's why you can't play the Mox Diamonds. Oh yeah, I mean, if I top a Mox Diamond here, we're just so sad, right? He just pondered, so he's going to flip that Delver, might as well attack. This is why you don't like the Mox Diamonds. 3-color or more Tezzerator shells usually do run some number of diamonds, but it's, yeah. We could do a 2-2 split. It's rough. It is rough. I might like this more than the first. Does filter us. Another reason for Guardian Beast. Alright, so Delver did flip. Let's see. What's sad is like any land in my deck doesn't get us into the Strix or the Leovold here. Mox Opal's always Lotus Petal at worst. Second Diamond just did nothing. Oh, we are on to, I mean, for this league, we were on probably more Mox Diamond than we could handle in the deck, for sure. Tufaka. Yeah, that's true. Like, that is absolutely true. The second Mox Opal is, at worst, a Petal. Yeah, it's like, I don't even know what we could possibly draw to get us out of this mess. That's true. I mean, we should maybe just embrace I mean, again, like, if we just go into the... I don't have enough money to get us into a place at a Mox Opal right now, but if we just made the switch and just went full-blown Affinity style, would we like the deck more? We wouldn't get turn 1 Chalices as much, or turn 1 Strix or Crane if we didn't have some number of Diamond, though. We could test the 2-2 split. 2-2 split, 22 land, basic, and a filter land. I mean, we've really fluctuated, I think, not so much on the cards in our deck over the course of the night. I think we've fluctuated the most on just the mana. Just how the mana ticks and how we want to, you know, young peasy lemon squeezy. Yeah, Vault doesn't even get us back in this. I think 2 basics would make more sense. What about an Explorer? That's true. People do like their Nick Fit. I used to play a bit of Nick Fit myself. Well, somebody said run 2 basic island first. So you're saying don't run Dark Water, run 2 basic island? 2 basic island or a split? I mean, again, just because, you know, like our artifact count has been higher than it's been in a while, like we might be able to get away with trimming like one of the off-color artifact lands. I like the spires, but like, you know, we could minus like 1 tree. Would it kill? Would it break the bank? It would make our cranes whiff a little bit more often, but that's okay. Because this is the least important color. I like the playset of Citadel just because it's making us play a little bit more nicely against the. Because if you look at the mana, like where do we actually need the green mana? Just in Leovold, just in if we don't want to pay life on Birthing Pod, and just in the Rex Sage and the Choke. So for a long time, I mean, like originally the list had just a Singleton Tree as a tutor target actually. Because it's arguably the worst land in the deck. Because at least Darksteel is Wasteland resilient. Alright, so I have to block here, and we're dead regardless, right? You got the Lightning Bolt, they always do. Good games. We meant to take out the forces. I wanted to leave in the Grizzle package. Hey, we got our fun in here, though. I mean, we got to cast some spells, right? Right? But no, that would have been much more of a game if our mana wasn't so awkward. I still think... I used to think that Darksteel was the card I didn't want as much in the mana base. But I did start jamming our deck against Waste a bit more. Let's cut a tree. Let's go to 3. So how's our artifact count if I cut that? It is... And it might just be because it's like 5, almost 6 in the morning that I'm like thinking this way. 15, 19, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. So only 20. Wow, we've gone down a lot if we do that. Only 28. The Glitness are going to start whiffing, but maybe that's okay. Like, just they're going to start missing a little more if we do that. Oops. I mean, we could like mainboard the explosives. We could mainboard the explosives, perhaps. What's our blue count? I mean, yes, getting out of the Grizzlebrand package does save us not an artifact slot, but it saves us a blue slot, perhaps. I still really like this in theory, but anyway. We've cut it before. I've always missed it because we've always had those board states happen like after the fact, where I'm just like, you know, if we could pot into a Grizzlebrand, we'd probably win this game. Yeah, blue count is still healthy though, holding strong at 25. So we're still healthily playing our forces. It's just now it's like, well, we're mulliganing a lot. We're not hitting our opening lands, so like 22 land again still feels good for Tesserator. And we could go back to some like soul lands too. I mean, you know, although they're again going to lower our artifact count, there are other ways we can get the artifact count back. How am I still awake? Like we could run, you know, you're talking to, we've done 48-hour streams here, Agrofiend. I have. Yeah. I think that Island is actually fine. It's probably where we want to be. Island, Darkwater. 22 lit. 2 Mox Diamond, 2 Opals. I mean, it's just such a hard mana base to piece together. I mean, Jay's always argued with me and said that I'm not one for creating. I mean, I don't. I've never been. As far as like what's weakest in any of my brews, I always think I like cuteness a little bit too much, or over the top, and then my next closest weakness with my brewing has to do with mana bases easily. I was there. I want to make Nick Fit work, but I can never make it work. Yeah, Goldfish. Nick Fit's interesting. Just run Lumberjack. Just run Orcish Lumberjack. There you go. Problem solved. Problem solved. We could go back to the main board Trinket Mage. I mean, again, like, the Thoughtcasts were just filler. I'm not, I liked them okay. I like them less if we're cutting any affinity lands. Yeah, I don't disagree that Darksteel's like our greediest land, right? It's just helping the affinity count. It's helped turning on Mox Opal, and it's also here for Wasteland, but it's a land drop that, like, okay, you're making your land drop BrewSpy, but you're not getting any color out of it, so it's so tough. It's really tough, and I kind of, like, part of me really wants to run it back because I feel like this is just so close. All right, so what do we gain if we finally let go of a Grizzle package just for one tournament and focus on the lower parts of the curve? What do we gain? What do we lose? What do we gain? What would it look like? I'm willing to maybe let it go. I mean, I might even still keep in the click. Just for when we accidentally draw Brea or Taker and we don't need Taker. Like, the click's been performing just fine on its own. If we do cut these slots, what do we gain? Do we gain a main board Toxic? Do we... Am I really considering doing it? I love the Grizzleband part of this deck, though. I love being able to go big, but, like, that was before, like, cards like Brea existed. It really was. She's pretty insane. We would probably main board Padim that gives us more Wasteland resilience, while still being a blue card. I mean, look, what we would probably do is we'd expand our sideboard and we'd main board, some more of the cards that were already decent in the deck as it was. Like, it gives us the main board explosives again, is what it does. Or like the main board Flusterstorm. Why don't you just main board Monastery Mentor? Is my short stream still going? What's up, Amber? Yeah, I mean, like, we could just move some of our sideboard cards that we really like that come in a lot, just move them into the main. That's what we could do. Again, I still feel like I like Agent of Bullets when we know it's a grind. I like the 2 of Tezzeret main board more if we just main Spyglass. That's another thought. Have you ever thought about Iona? Iona's 9 mana, so we'd have to go up to Grizzle and then go higher. Cut a Tezzeret for Agent of Bullets. Run the 1/1. You want me to consider doing the 1/1 like this? And then have the extra Seeker for Spyglass and Helm? Okay, I could see that. I could see that. And then we gain 3 sideboard, extra sideboard slots, like an extra Choke, another Deluge, maybe even Abrupt Decay. I don't hate Decay. Or Maelstrom Pulse. It's greedy, though. It's another green card for a sideboard and really should be like a misdirection. Why not just use Phage? Thought she was an 8. No, she's not an 8. She's 9, unfortunately. I think the Explosives is main deckable. It's flexible. Could be main deckable. Yeah, we could go back to the Trinket Mage being in the main. Trinket Mage is another way, like, we can go Crane, hope to grab a mana source, and then Trinket Mage to grab another mana source, just continuing to fix or grab another Chalice. Trinket Mage did tie the pod package to the Chalices and the mana base in the main board, and then in the sideboard it ties us to bullets like Crypt. What about Jin Gitaxis? I'd be willing to test it without the Grizzle package. I feel like Brea has been just really strong. Like, if we want a draw engine, Padim is the one. Like, Padim can already pull that off for us. If we want, like, a way to take over the board or just, like, toss a bunch of artifacts at our opponent's face, like, Brea can do that. Be willing to test it. I mean, our blue count becomes absurd, and then we can consider we don't have to have specifically blue tutor targets anymore, because this is a nice, like, ridiculous 26. It's not even just a healthy force deck anymore. It's like you might even be like, whoa, whoa, slow down. Like, why don't we consider some black cards in the deck now or green cards? Like, you could run the first, like, over the third Thoughtcast, I could run like a Sylvan Library. We're in the colors for it. Although I did just cut a tree. We did just cut a tree. That's true. We did just cut a tree down, so. Three cards for the board. What did we struggle with today? We did struggle with Wasteland. It's like double Spyglass. A lot of the combos we played against, we were just like wishing we had more than one Spyglass. So that's something to think about. It's like that was some of the stuff we struggled. We also struggled against some combos that we just would have loved to have an extra Flusterstorm. And then there were a lot of decks that we could have locked out with the extra Choke, or an extra Deluge would have been useful. So I think just like going up on some of these things is more or less correct. We also had a game where we just kind of wish we just had the Leyline in the opener. We did lose to Reanimator and we just never saw Leyline. I'm not saying that we should be on the fourth Leyline necessarily. You can get away with the 3 of. And then of course we have the Crypt to supplement that plan, and we can tutor for the Crypt at least. But, you know, do we want a 5th Graveyard Hate for the sideboard? Like, Spyglass can be flexible there. Like, you can name Grizzlebrand, and then we can just hostage taker his Grizzlebrand. You know, there are ways around it. If you cut a tree, plant 2 more. Yeah. I mean, I still like the second Choke. I think it hits the meta from a nice angle. A lot of people aren't prepared for it. Like, these are some of the things I wish we kind of had a second copy of that we didn't have access to today. The second Glass, the second Flusterstorm, the second Choke, but they all still feel kind of like sideboard cards. Play a Sower of Temptation. I like Sower in theory. We used both ends of Hostage Taker today, which was excellent. Yeah, it did feel really good. That did feel quite good. Yeah, it did feel good to do that today. Something like this is actually more realistic. We were setting explosives a lot to X's 2 in game 1s, to be honest, because the idea is to have Chalice on 1, and then of course explosives can clean ups on 2s. This is actually more like, to be honest, and forces are either hard cast or they're free cast. Would True Name not be strong in the deck? Could help you with your lower blue count. I don't hate the idea of True Name. I also prefer True Name in decks that run equipment. I'm not saying True Name would be a bad 3-drop. That's not what I'm saying. I think True Name is certainly, yeah, something like this might have performed a little bit better today. Even more respect for Wasteland, running some number of basics, and probably even the second island, as you guys said, was probably more correct than the first block source. And Darkwater fixing all of our Dark Steels, Spires, Tree of Tails into Strix seems really nice. I like this as our first extra land. That's not part of the affinity theme. We did cut one affinity land, the tree, because green's kind of the splash. So like this would be respecting Wasteland even more than I have in previous builds. Alright, but it's 6 in the morning, so I'm going to screenshot this, and maybe this is where we're taking the deck in the future. I mean, like, those are real things I can say. Like, these are cards I kind of feel like I wish I'd had the extra copies of today. We did use the Rex Sage, so I still like having it in the 75, but it still feels like a sideboard card. Taker more main deckable. It's not able to hit enchants, and you're like, okay, well, Bruce, by how often does hitting enchants come up in Legacy? You'd be surprised. Some of the big offenders are not only Sylvan Library, but another big one is going to be the occasional, if I can think of the darn thing, Back to Basics. Those are the 2 big offenders. There are other enchants to hit, and you'd be surprised how often it comes up. But it's more likely that the Rex Sage is just something more quickly to pod to, more easy to pod to than the Taker. And Taker can get killed. I mean, Taker excels kind of. I think Taker's more flexible, and I was mildly to more impressed with the card than I thought I would have been. What about Enchantress? Yeah, Agraphene, like, we could consider a true name. I don't think I have one. Let me check it. Let me look into it. True name Nemesis. Ooh, no, the 2 islands don't like the extra choke. Hold up. Not that I don't run the first island. I think if we're going to add the second choke, I do a split. That's not the worst anti-synergy ever just to have in a deck, by the way. Probably first basic. It'd either be basic swamp or just put back in the Tree of Tales. That's not horrendous anti-synergy, by the way. Like literally 1 land in our deck gets turned off by the choke. Big deal. But why not just Sower Temptation or a second Hostage Taker, says Face? I mean, Sower is sweet. You like having a Sower? I do own a Sower, I think. Sower of Temptation. We've talked about Sower. Sower is specifically for creatures. There's lots of fun things you can do with it, though, in Legacy. There are ways you can just steal games with it, which is hilarious to me. I don't know if I would mainboard it, but because at least Hostage Taker's a little more flexible than Sower. Sower's like when your opponents are going like over the top. This is like where you want to go. We want to like Spyglass Grizzlebrand, and then you Sower their Grizzlebrand, and then we win with their Grizzlebrand. Yeah, second Taker or Sower. Are you saying cut the Rex Sage? Because enchantment doesn't come up all that much? And run like a sideboard Sower? That'd be kind of spicy. That would be kind of spicy. I think in a vacuum, Taker's a little bit... I mean, there's more upside to Sower. Sower dies to more things than Taker, ever so slightly. The short list, though, being the difference between Lightning Bolt and Punishing Fire. But then again, double Punishing Fire kills us anyway. I like the Taker, though. I don't mind the idea of a Sower over the Rex Sage. I mean, we do use Rex Sage, but like Taker's kind of taking over the Reclamation Sage spot in my deck more and more. It just seems to be the case. Yeah, that is a little bit of anti-synergy, the extra. The extra. I mean, like, not that we can't run 2 islands in a choke deck. I'm just saying it's a bit anti-synergistic. I think we would be disappointed when that gets us, though. If you kill Sower in response to the EDB trigger, the effect never happens, right? Says Diabeetles. Yes. So it says as long as Sower of Temptation remains on the battlefield. Taker has the same text. It says as long as that card remains exiled. Yeah, until Hostage Taker leaves the battlefield, so remains, stays. So I mean, yeah, it's kind of a repeat offender. This is more try to win with our opponent's deck kind of a card than, and again, that makes it, more specific, because if you're playing against a deck where there's nothing really good to take, technically Taker would be the more flexible mainboard spell to be running. I mean, Padim doesn't need to be mainboard. And again, I still feel that Agent of Bull is so much better when we know it's a grind. I'll just point that out one more time. I still almost like Seeker being able to untap pods for us. Seeker being able to be the extra copy of pod. I understand mana cost is a concern. That's not what I'm, the mainboard Seeker operating kind of like the 5th pod anyway, as it stands. I mean, it might be nice for us to run this config. We could retire the Rex Sage for a little bit. I mean, Taker, of course, is sweet in reference to to Batterskull. Actually, is why this is super cool. But if you kill Taker, the effect would still happen as you get it back after the effect is resolved when he leaves the battlefield. If you Taker, the effect still happens. So if you kill it in response, you should never get it back. Enters the battlefield, exile another target creature until hostile leaves the battlefield. So are you saying if they messed up, like they killed the Taker with the Taker trigger still on the stack and didn't wait? Yes. If they didn't wait for the trigger to finish resolving, I think it might stay exiled. Kind of like Tidehollow Sculler with spells in your hand, kind of. I'm not sure. We might need to check the Gatherer on that one. Yeah, we could try a Sower. I mean, it is fun winning with your opponent's creatures. That's the old wording. They fixed it to the modern wording. So Amber's saying no. Okay. Okay. Oh man. I do miss having something for Glenn to turn into. We talked about a lot of different 5-drops as well. We've brought up a lot of different 5-drops, from bringing back the classic Thragtusk to the deck, to the Doomwake Giant coming back, to yeah, just a lot of different things. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of different things were thought about today. I actually really like where the deck is now. Yeah. I like embracing the affinity part of the deck a little bit more. I think the Thoughtcast was a cool idea. We've been on and off on Thoughtcast. Yeah, I mean, I do want to have like one more creature to put for the pod. I mean, like, we don't have to run the double Deluge. I mean, I really like Deluge. We just haven't found a creature. I mean, there is Pontiff. God, we keep going back to this card. We have talked about Pontiff as a substitute for the second Deluge. Or, oh. I don't have one right now. Or is that Pontiff? Yeah, we talked about Pontiff being a substitution for the extra Deluge. I do like having 2 or more of this effect in the sideboard. Pontiff, of course, only able to deal with small boards, but is tutorable. Whereas, I mean, there's a lot of board states that, yeah, Pontiff is sweet. We talked about Pontiff. I mean, like, I think one of these 3 creatures would be really nice for the sideboard. Just play Revelark. We could also play the Revolt guy. We talked about the 3-drop Revolt guy. Good old Revelark. I always spell this wrong. To Reveal. What about a Staticaster? Staticaster's cool. Yeah, I mean, Staticaster's in our colors. Staticaster's interesting in Legacy. Like, it doesn't kill True Name, but like it hits most everything else that you would want to kill. Can never spell this card. Yeah, I mean, Revelark is interesting. Power 2 or less, that's a lot of our dudes. I mean, that's the Padim. That's the Glen, that's the Take. I mean, that hits like everything except for Brea. Doesn't hit Leovold, but it doesn't hit Click or Leovold, but it hits like Trinket Mage, hits X-Arch. So, T-Fate says congrats on your deck being featured on FG Goldfish. Thanks, T-Fate. Although nobody seemed to... We had a couple people trickle in that actually saw that. I wish Saffron had let people know that that Spawn of Virtue is BrewSpy, that BrewSpytheMagicGuy is Spawn. Like, that's my Motor username. Like, he did mention that, you know, it came from... He was like, username Spawn of Virtue. It's like, well, I do kind of wish he'd let people know it was us, but that's okay. I mean, we're a small-time stream. It happens. There's not much I can do. Yeah, so the Revelark seems sweet. It's 2 L's. Okay. So Revelark could be like the 5-drop that maybe we never realized we wanted. It's less greedy on our mana than Brea. It's only single white. This is interesting. See, this is like the kind of tech I like talking about with you guys. It's like a Revelark. But bringing back like a Strix and a Crane, like it'll bring back some part of the pod chain that got to it. Might be worth sending him a message. I tried. I said something on Twitter. Some other people said something on Twitter. Somebody said that there was stuff going on Reddit. I never read the Reddit. Today actually started off, the reason that my Twitch channel, the reason that the stream title is somebody whispered me on Twitch saying, dude, there's something going wrong on Reddit. There's like this argument, like, you know, people are saying that you built the deck that Saffron showed, and it's like, well, but yeah, like that is my username. My username is On Magic Online, my username is Spawn of Virtue. Like that's my deck. We've been playing it for about 3 years, and I mean I didn't want to really talk about it because I think it's good that the deck is getting shown off. But at the same time, it would have been nice that the recognition didn't so much go to username Spawn of Virtue. It would have been nice that the recognition went to BrewSpytheMagicGuy, because that's who I am now. I haven't deleted my Moto account and renamed it BrewSpytheMagicGuy. I didn't think that was worth it. But anyway, I didn't see the Reddit post. I looked for it. I couldn't find it. Somebody said that there's some sort of kerfuffle or whatever on Reddit, and I'm not much for Reddit. If one of you guys finds it, send me the link and I can say something and be like, whoa, hold up guys, this is a good thing. We're getting the deck in front of people's eyes, you know? But, I mean the same, I don't want to really get into that, T-Fate. The same kerfuffle happened with, with Star City games when, and it wasn't Star City's fault, but the player that borrowed our list, Vic Sansing, didn't get the name right. They didn't get the recognition right. So I have no idea. I don't know. It was one of the first messages that I saw today on Twitch. It was in the. He didn't even message me directly. He came into my He came into our channel, and he just simply said in the chat. He said, "Hey, there's something going on Reddit. They're saying you brewed the deck that Saffron showed," and it's like no, like that's not what happened. Like. We did a 4-3. I won a legacy challenge, and now the tech's out there, is what happened. But this tech has existed for like 3 years. This isn't new tech. I've added new cards to it, and I think the deck got better with like Kaladesh cards. But it's not new tech. We've been doing this for like 3 years now. Is it one of the MTG? What about Glissa the Trader? Ooh. We talked about Glissa before. Glissa does have interesting synergies. Her first strike death touch not irrelevant in Legacy. She's a little heavy on the green. I mean we have to kill their dudes to get artifacts back though. I wouldn't mind having a 5, just like a powerful 5 again. But like Thragtusk wasn't always doing it for us. Like Revelark could be really strong. What does this return in our deck? What does this return in our deck? It would just be a pod target though. But like I think our blue count's healthy enough that we could consider like one mega greedy beside. I mean Brea again is not as greedy as you think because she pitches to force if you do draw her. You can always Vendilion click that or pieces that you don't want back into the deck. That's why this is here, not just for going after opponent's hand, which it does on the regular. If you find it, T-Fate, let me know and I'll post something. And I can show them my archive of YouTube videos. I can show them all our old Twitch videos. Yeah. I wouldn't mind getting more people interested. What about Phyrexian Crusader to Zamber? Probably a little too narrow. But yeah, I don't mind having another Haymaker that we can, like, if we're like, okay, we potted up the Taker, and we, like, cast the dude that we took. Or, like, not Padim, but, like, probably, it'd be nice to, like, be able to pod Glenn or like Taker in certain situations. I mean, again, like really the only creature that really would want to go up to Revelark is Glenn, because there's synergy here, obviously. Like Revelark could just get the Glenn back, or worry about that because she persists naturally. Actually, that's not how that would work. This would come back regardless of that Revelark's help. But this does have synergy for a lot of the creatures in the deck, except for her. 1, 2, 3. 4, 5. So the creatures that Revelark wouldn't synergize are Brea, Leovold. So some of our strongest, like Leovold, Brea, Vendilion Click, like none of these would synergize with the Revelark, but the Strixes and Glintnus would. So like we have like 13 creatures that this could bring back. This is a cool theory idea. It's easy for you to cast Revelark. Brea's harder to cast than Revelark. That's true. I don't hate the idea of a Revelark. That's cool. That might be cool tech. I still think I'd rather embrace green in our mana base, like with some natural artifact lands, just due to Birthing Pod, Leovold, and then the sideboard chokes, but I like this idea. No, I mean, Pontiff comes up more than you'd think in Legacy. Like, this is useful against Elves, this is useful against Young Pyromancer, True Name Nemesis. Like, if we want to go with the quote-unquote best card to pot out instead of worrying about the colors, it is Pontiff. It is. It is Pontiff. So if we want like more or less a third deluge effect, it would be Pontiff. So we could cut like the 4th Thoughtcast. It is just kind of filler. I like every other card in our deck. I mean, again, like I don't feel as though we need main board Agent of Bolus. Could still just be in the board, and then you still stick with 2 Seekers because Seekers equal more pods. You kind of want to leverage the strength of pod game 1. Something to think about. Sort this. I mean, again, Padim still, to me, feels more happy in the sideboard. I mean, again, the hexproof effect is not unnoticed. I mean, card is strong enough to be main deckable. So really the greediest creature in the deck is still the Deceiver. His only purpose here really is to just cheat us straight to our 4 drops, which is what this version at least is trying to do. And then if we're cheating to the 4 drops more quickly, we can get to the Revel Arc. So, I mean, I'm fine with like cutting a Thoughtcast. It's just filler. It's not necessarily essential here. I'd almost rather just have the 2nd Tezzeret. Maybe 1 Mirror Retriever. Cut a tree for an Ancient Den, says Faka. So cutting the 3rd tree for Ancient Den makes sense in reference to both Brea and Revelark and Pontiff. It gives my Trinket Mage a white source to go grab. That's true. Ancient Den. So that's still us embracing the Own J. Science rules. Thanks for that follow. Yeah, I like the idea of the Singleton Ancient. The reason that we had a Singleton Tree of Tails for a while, then we bumped it up to 2 because we liked the reduction of damage we were taking on our pod activations. Yeah, I like cutting maybe a Thoughtcast or the 22nd land. All right, T-Fate says, post title, sometimes hot garbage just seems sweet. That's why I eat hot tamales. What? This deck shouldn't be too expensive to get in paper if you already have the forces. Relatively. I mean, Reddit is Reddit, you know? I think the Thoughtcasts get weaker for every artifact land we cut, so that's what I just typed. Can you link it? I'll take a look. I should probably look at that after stream, though. Okay, well, I can get these from Card Hoarder. 1, 2, 3 cards. If we want the 4th Thoughtcast, we can bring it back. Again, like I don't like having too much air, and that feels like the kind of air. Like again, like in these kind of stompy style lists, I kind of like having less air. I still like Agent of Bolus when we know it's a grind. I really do. When I know it's going to be a grind, I still prefer Agent of Bolus in the side. Tezzeret being flexible as the extra explosives is just so nice in the main. I mean, the extra birthing pod, excuse me. That's how we justified going to only 3 pods. We added the 2nd Tezzeret to the main board Seeker. Yeah, I'll look at this after stream. It's a very short post. It's just 5 comments. Okay. I mean, the guy made it sound like it was this big deal, and it's not. Yeah. Well, if you guys want to say so, I actually don't have my... I mean, I could log into my Reddit account later. It's a very short post. Thanks, Azumi. Yeah, this is from the Twitch streamer BrewSpy. He has been brewing this deck for several years now. Thanks, guys. I mean, it's always better when you guys say it than me. I mean, maybe that's why I shouldn't have gone on Twitter and said anything to Saffron, you know. It's always better if it comes from the community and not from the person. And then I just confirm what people say. Anyway. Small agent for Seeker, because new rules you can have 2 at the same time, though. Yeah, I know, Tufaka. I'm fully aware that we can have a board state of both this and this. I just still prefer Seeker in the main. If we wanted to be better in grinds, we would do a split, right? You would do this, But like the thing is, I just want to be able to go tutor for the birthing pod. Like there's some board states where Tezzeret just needs to sacrifice himself for the greater good, or the fact that Seeker has better synergy for pod. It's just that's all that it is. And game one, I want to be able to leverage the strength of pod, or be able to find it more easily. Like Tezzeret Agent of Bolus could find a pod, but it needs to be in the top 5 of our deck, and then you're like, oh, we only have 3. Like I prefer Agent of Bolus when we know it's going to be a grind. If it's a combo matchup, like I'd rather have Seeker. And Seeker's like, okay, God, we gotta find this pod. Okay, let's sacrifice the Seeker for pod. Now we have pod. Okay, we pod the 2-drop into the click, take their card. Okay, now we're good. Like, Tezzeret can't do that. Tezzeret's better in a grind. Yeah, go ahead and post. Thank you guys. That would be excellent. I'll talk to Card Hoarder and get us into another card here. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and order these cards and we can play them next stream. I might be down for another Robo-Pod in the near future. Somebody playing Modern Grixis Jace Control. That sounds sweet. All right. Let me get these missing cards, and we'll try the slight white splash. We're embracing the white splash a little bit more. Breya still being the greediest card in the deck, but she's so powerful. It's hard not to want to run her. She's really, really strong. I mean, somebody said you should just run 2, and I was like, we could. You could run 2 because she's really that strong. Yeah, I like the Revelar, because like this is kind of doing what the 3-drop we had earlier was doing, except a little bit more powerfully. Well, the issue with Revelar is how do we get it to die, though? Hold up. This might not be better than the other guy we were running the other day. The Revolt guy. I mean, I love this in theory, but how do we get this to die? I guess I pot it and then it doesn't pot into anything? That's sad. It makes me sad. I mean, some people said we could look into being just combo pod, like find a. I mean, somebody suggested Lion's Eye Diamond off of the Trinket Mage, and that was a really sick line. But there's like a lot of cards that it would take to do. You should order a pizza. What was it, Rallier? I think this almost takes the spot of Rallier in that case, because Rallier is something like, because there are board states where none of these are really what we want to be doing. And we just kind of want an extra Strix or Crane to go back up the pod chain. We had a Renegade Rallier in here for a bit. That would still maybe denote the Ancient Den. And Pontiff makes us kind of want an Ancient Den as well. What's the card that infinitely loops with Revelark, though? Yeah, so Rallier getting back Chalice. Oh no, it puts it into battle. It's not very good with explosives. Sorry, it's not very good with either of these pieces, unfortunately. But it is nice in reference to the opals. Definitely nice in reference to these. What about Witness? Yeah, Witness could be played too. I mean, you could run an Eternal Witness. Witness being green is tough on the mana, but I mean, so are these like singulars. Short stream, eh? Short stream, eh? Yeah, I mean, Witness is another consideration we've talked about before. It's fine. It's not. I mean, it's flexible. We've tested Witness in our deck before, actually. I like Witness if we're not gonna like continue to pot up the chain and just like keep going up and back down and up and back down. I mean, again, that's where Rallier is not like Rallier makes sense with what we're doing here, because if I'm not like if we're just trying to accelerate to the 4-drops and then this is where we wanted to be, because I mean Legacy is fast. It's hard to justify, you know, potting up all the way up the chain to Grizzlebees. You know, it might be nice to just, you know, have a way to start the pod chain once again and go back up the chain a second time. So again, if we're not going to add the big splashy finishes to our pod, I mean, again, this is me trying to embrace a non-Grizzlebrand variant of this, which we were Grizzlebrand for years, which, I mean, it makes me sad to retire it, but like we've had really powerful finishes with some of these anyway. Good news, everyone. 4 a.m. once again. What about Karmic Guide? Karmic Guide might be more what we need. Just return something. Yeah. Karmic Guide might make more sense than Revelark. Yeah, Karmic Guide might also make more sense. I mean, the problem with Witness is it doesn't put it into play for us. It's like Rallier or Karmic Guide might be more what we need. I mean, I remember running this in our deck and we loved it when we did, and then it was sometimes not all that great. Yeah, Karmic Guide might be where we want to be. I mean, we're not going to pay for the echo costs on this, but bringing back the Brea, like bringing back some of these really powerful bullets that it's like, it kind of sucks that I don't have another one. And also fronting the mana cost for us seems huge. Karmic Guide, Body Double, Mirror Entity, Scrap Trawler. I don't hate the idea of like Rallier and Guide because these both put them into play. So like these effects felt really, really, really good because they were helping us already do what the deck does, right? So the cool thing about these cards is like they're letting us reuse Strixes and Cranes, and then we can start potting back up the pod chain. Like when it's just a straight up value battle, like this is actually really, really sweet. We've tried Rallier. We've never tried Karmic. We'll rarely be able to pay the Echo. Pro Black's not irrelevant in Legacy. What about Workshop Assistant? I'm down for trying some other bullets. I mean, we've tested Rallier in this. We liked it. You know, pod triggers Revolt. Boom. It's really, the problem though with these bullets is like they're more than just a little bit crappy when we naturally draw them. They're kind of in the same category as Grizzlebrand bad or to be naturally drawn. I mean, I'm not saying that we can't get the Revolt to naturally do Rallier. Karmic Guide would probably not be doable. And then we're also hurting the blue count a little bit, not too much, right? We're still at a healthy 14. Oh, I accidentally grabbed a pod. Accidentally. We're still at a healthy 25 blue, so these might be fine. Pod into a solid reanimate. What about Auric Salvagers? Echo's not always what you want. Alright, Karmic Guide is one, hit back whatever you need. Right, I mean like Revelark could fulfill a similar role. It's just we have to kill the Revelark, and that would mean we wouldn't get the thing until next turn. Like the reason we liked Thragtusk at the top of our curve was that Thragtusk solved a lot of issues. But like a lot of the issues that we needed like to go ridiculously high and do something like Grizzlebrand, or a lot of the issues we need, like Brea does that. So like we could just have a second Brea. Like this card has been insane for us. Like in a lot of different matchups, we're just trying to get her out. She's kind of, I hate to say it, she's almost taken over the Grizzlebrand spot as like, no, this is what we pod for when we don't need a pod for a bullet. Like this is what we pod for. And that's okay. I'm fine discovering that years later, you know, working on this deck. New cards get printed all the time. It's just tonight, like every match was like we wanted one of these three, arguably Padim as well against the Wasteland decks. And being able to accelerate into these powerful 4-drops is great. I mean, the problem with something like a 5-drop like Karmic is that it's too bad Rallier can't get these back. I mean, this just makes us better value pod, basically, is what adding elements like this to the deck. It doesn't necessarily make us better in any other shape. This literally makes us better value within the potting itself, within the act of birthing potting itself. So like let's say you go Crane into Pod into Rallier, get back Crane, Crane Pod into Click, put the Karmic Guy that's in my hand back into the deck, and then we Pod Click into Brea, and then they kill our Brea, we Pod Renegade Rallier into Glenelundra Archmage, play a Tezzeret, untap the Pod the Glen into Karmic Guide, get back Brea. You see what I'm talking about? Like adding elements like Rallier and Karmic Guide, they would let us, what is the word? They let us populate the board using our graveyard. And this makes us worse against Deathrite Shaman decks, just so you're aware. Like both of these do. They both do. And there's a lot of Deathrite Shaman. So, I mean, there's that drawback too. Double white would be hard. Yeah. I think the Rallier might be okay. We really liked it when we played the Rallier. We really, really did like the Rallier when we played it. Just being able to go back down the pod chain, it's one of the few ways. I mean, I would add potentially an Ancient Den even just for Rallier and the Pontiff. Might still be fine in the mana base over the third tree. I still like 2 trees. So just even as a tutor target. So like I like the idea of Rallier coming back into the deck just because this is a pod target that's not impossible to pull off naturally. And then we have the ability to, we go up the pod chain a little bit, and then we're like, no, this is a grind. Let's make sure that we can get a second Strix or second Crane. Crane gets to see another card. You know, Strix comes back, draws us another card. So, you know, a lot of the board states that we're losing is we kind of wanted to keep the Strix or the Crane, and Rallier's a way to do that. We're still progressing up the pod tree too. So we get these guys back, and Rallier didn't exist when Birthing Pod was played in Modern. Not that we should compare ourselves to a Modern deck, but you know, like Renegade Rallier would have seen play if it was printed at the same time as Birthing Pod was legal in Modern. It's just more versatile. Why not just go Pod combo, go Deceiver into Felidar, body double 6-drop, or is it not worth it? It's not that that's not worth it, Sago No Boss. We were playing a way to go to Grizzlebrand, and I've run it and cut it and run it and cut it and run it and cut it. We had a Treasure Mage, Mirror Enforcer, and then Grizzlebrand. Again, I don't feel like we're losing the games where we necessarily need to go big anymore. Like, these really do what we need to do. If we know it truly is a grind and they have, well, Caracas, though. Yeah. Yeah. Caracas is tough. It is. A lot of like the finish, like for grinds, a lot of the finishes we want to finish either Padim or Brea, both of which are answered by Caracas. At least Brea lets us keep the tokens out. It's not the end of the world. But a lot of our powerful finishes like Leovold, Brea, and Padim are unfortunately all Caracasable. But anyway.